Our resource person, Mr. Csr, and Mrs. Gudakanda, Director, COBAF, and Menaka, the coordinator, and also our participants. Let me welcome all of you to the IBSL, this online program on Diploma in Corporate Banking. I think we are conducting this in a period where we cannot physically meet. And we were hopeful that we will be able to conduct classes physically maybe 2 weeks back. But the situation is now getting a little bit worse. Lucky that we are having this system to accommodate our, conduct our programs online, so allow our participants to participate in the programs from elsewhere. And without taking much time, let me talk a little bit about this program. This is aimed at empowering, I think. This is aimed at empowering the senior officers in the banking sector to cater to the corporate sector. And there are so many different aspects in this program. There are 9 modules. And also we have a very senior panel to conduct this program. Today, the program is going to be started by one of our board members and fellows, and also he has been with us for a long period as a resource person. That is Mr. Lasantha Senaratna. And if we look at his profile, he has a lot of achievements to his account. In terms of academic side, he has AIB, FIB, FIBS, MBA from the University of Colombo, and also Master of LLM, Faculty of University of Colombo, LLB, Attorney at Law, AMA, Chartered Secretaries of Sri Lanka, ICA Diploma in GRP, and also there are so many qualifications to his account, and also part qualification SIM UK, and also IC.
Hello. 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 Shamil, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Yeah, Mr. Karunatila,
can you hear me?
Yeah, now
yes,
I can hear. Now we can
I'm sorry. Can you hear me? You didn't hear me earlier.
Yeah, now we can hear.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I'm extremely sorry. Okay, let me start from the very beginning. And Mr. Lasantha Senaratna, our resource person, and Director COBAF, College of Banking and Finance of the IBSL, and also the Menaka, who is the coordinator, and our participants for this program. As I mentioned earlier, I know that you didn't hear it.
Mr. Karunatila, we hear up to a certain extent, so you can highlight the course materials, those course concerns. That would be ideal, I think.
Okay, sure, I'll do it. Sure. So that means you didn't hear anything before, no?
Last part, only last 2 minutes.
Okay. Okay.
My introduction was given. You gave me my introduction, so you can go thereafter. You can.
Okay. Okay. And as I said, Mr. Senaratna has a lot of research work to his credit. It is a very rare situation because most of the time the research work is done mostly by the academics, who has fairly more time compared to the bankers. But being a senior banker and also having a lot of engagements and responsibilities, he has managed to conduct this research. There are a lot of research work, and I think let me highlight a few of them. And corporate governance and its impact on risk management in today's context, with special reference to indigenous private commercial banks in Sri Lanka. And there's another one, how audit committee members and external auditors should contribute towards its committees for further enhancement of quality standards and transparency of audit functions from the perspective of good governance. And also he has articles in his name: Good Governance in the Banking Sector, Different Views, Bank of Ceylon, 17th volume newsletter. Impact of the new companies act to the banking sector. Banking sector, document of Sampath Bank, the operational manual and training guide on security documentation and related issues for Sampath Bank, training guide to negotiable instrument as a mode of payment for Sampath Bank, research paper and guest speech, SARC, BASL, ICT Law Conference 2009, Internet Banking. Okay, then we can see how resourceful our resource person is, and other resource persons are also competent, and also the senior officers who have been in the banking sector for a long period and shouldering the responsibilities of senior positions, and also they all have been with us for a long period as senior lecturers. So then we have no any doubt about the delivery, the quality delivery of this program. Let me highlight a little bit about the program. That is, this is designed to equip the senior officers in the banking sector how to deal with the corporate sector. And there are a lot of areas to be covered. It has 9 modules, and especially, and you must have received a copy of this one. The assessment is very important, because in the assessment there are assignments and the final examination. And when it comes to assessment, I think you have to be very careful with this assessment when you make the assignments. Please try to be original. But sometimes there's Mr. Senarathan will agree with me. There's a tendency of participants sometimes copying from other documents, and also without making it original. Because at the end of the course, what we are expecting you to take from home from this course is the experience and also the skill to look at the banking sector as a practitioner. Because you can have a copy of a certificate, and also somebody's work you can use, but that is not going to add to your skills at the end of the day. Therefore, please try to be original, and then that only will contribute to your progress. And there will be a final examination. It has 80 marks, and the brochure you may have received already. And there's another thing. Sometimes, even though there are many participants at the very beginning, sometimes we see the enthusiasm goes down over time. It will be a wasted investment then, because you pay for this course, and also during the course you sacrifice your time, effort, money. Then if you don't work hard to get the maximum benefit, that again will be then you will not get the maximum benefit from the course. Therefore, while having all those are just sharing my observations, because when we conduct these programs, those are the observations we have made. Mr. Senaratha will give you the details of this course, and also the other lecturers also will highlight the importance of their respective areas. If you have any problem, Mr. Meneka is there to look after your, to handle your complaints. And as the Director General of the IBSL, I am responsible for making this program very successful. Therefore, if there is any adjustment that you think should be from our side, please feel free to either call me or send me an email, whatever. We will try to maximize your benefit from this course. So with this, let me invite our resource person, Mr. Senaratna, to start. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Karnal Tilakam, for that detailed introduction. Thank you very much. Right. Hope that you all can see the slides. Can you all see the slides?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Right.
Yes.
Fine. Right. So my topic is on corporate governance in the public companies. Why I have taken public companies? Because banks are also public companies. Top of that, there are two aspects. One is we are dealing with customers. So that is the public companies more mainly. And in addition to the big companies, you have small companies as well. And on top of that, you are working for a company. You are working for a bank or a financial institution. It may be a finance company or a leasing company. So covering everything, why I have highlighted corporate governance in public companies, right? Now, when you come to bankers' perspective, I hope that all of you all are bankers. Later part, I will get the introduction from you all. Now, we are in a business where we always try to help people. It's true that we take public money and we run this show. We take deposits and we lend, and the difference or the margin is going to be our profit. Now, if you see the recent past, this margin is coming lower and lower and thinner. As a result, it's going to impact the bottom line results or the profits of all the financial sector organization. But out of this recent past pandemic issue, we are the only sector that survives in a big way. From the inception up to now, it's true that our profits have gone down. It's one just aspect, but still we are giving the maximum to our public, and at the same time we are surviving in a way because we are helping others. So when when your idea, your intention is good, we can survive as a sector. But unfortunately, I have seen in certain instances, when you come to your bottom line results or the EN profits, sometimes the sector inside within the sector, banks are trying to compete each other, so which is not a good aspect, and we should not compete each other. We should work as a team, as a sector, and we have to understand what is our role to the community, especially in a pandemic situation. So we are the first frontliners who face this pandemic issue, even though there was a lockdown situation at the inception. But bankers, they went through their job. They only 2-3 weeks rest was given for you all, and after that we had to deal with our customers, and we gave that particular service, right? So that is an important factor. So understand, you all have selected a good profession. You have selected a area, a career, which there is a clear path, but you have to ensure your path, because in time to come there will be automation will take over most of our functions. So that's a fact, but you have to be strong enough to survive in that particular market. So at the same time, while getting this kind of qualification, your core should be completing your banking. That's the basics. That's the basics of your banking business. So those who have not done their banking, completed their banking, you have a responsibility to get that qualification. Banking is not difficult, or any examination is not difficult, I would say. It's a matter of your priority. It's a matter of your focus. So as bankers, we want quality banking. In order to give that quality banking, you all have to have the required knowledge and skill. So please make sure that you go for that and get the maximum knowledge and skill. And if you want to survive in the long run, I will, in the latter part, I will explain why I say it's going to be a very competitive business in time to come. With a lot of mergers and acquisitions, possibilities are there in time to come. There will be few banks in the system. So we have to be strong enough to face that challenge. We have to be strong enough to take that challenge and run this show. But what is more important, not only the bottom line results, bottom line result is only one just aspect, but we have to ensure quality banking. So the institute is there to give you the quality knowledge. It's up to you to get that. And as Mr. Karunatilaka very correctly stated, at the beginning you get big numbers, but at the latter part, sometimes you don't see that enthusiasm. As a result, we get less numbers. So don't do that. Don't come for these lessons just to get the diploma certificate, because you're out of that you're not going to get anything. You will get the certificate, but you don't get the knowledge. So the knowledge is important. You have to ensure that you gather that knowledge for your day-to-day activities. That's the biggest challenge that we see. if you're coming here for just to ensure that you have the marks, to get the marks for your promotion, I think it's not the requirement. We want you here to get knowledge and use that knowledge into the business and enhance this sector to the next level. So please understand, you need to participate regularly, because you don't have to come now. It's a matter of just online joining to the sessions. So that's not a big deal. But within the session, you need to interact. That's important, because most of the time students, they don't interact, and behind the screen we don't know what's really happening. Sometimes students, they are on the camera and they log in, but finally we can't see them, or when we ask a question, students are silent. So I don't want that kind of a environment here. I want you to interact. I want you to ask questions. I want to contribute, because I can learn a lot from you all, because there are 18 participants here, right? I can learn a lot from you all, because it's each and every point is a learning point. So with that start, and also you don't have to worry about your exam if you're participating well, if you're joining for the lectures, and if you're interacting with the lectures. Examination is not a problem. I'll be handling the assignment, the first part. So that once again, that is one, it's more practical type of an assignment. And most of my lectures, though they are legal focus, they are more into common sense, because banking is all about common sense. Handling customers is common sense, nothing more than that. If you have your common sense with some blend of your technical and theoretical knowledge, you can be a quality banker. So unfortunately today the common sense is a little bit uncommon. That is why the bankers are competing each other, and bankers are trying to fight for the limited customer base we have in our Sri Lankan context. So I don't want any conflict within the classroom. There may be different banks, different individuals or financial sector, but under this umbrella, all of us are bankers, right? So with that thought, I will go to my set of slides. Okay. Now, what is governance? Can you all see the slide? If you can't see the slide, please let me know. Can you see the slide? Yes. Can someone reply, please?
Yes.
Right. Now, what is governance? What do you know about governance? Yes. What is governance? Alison, what is governance? Alison.
Hi.
I prefer if you can on your camera and give your answer.
Okay.
Yeah. Can see.
Governance, basically it's a set of guidelines.
Okay. Set of guidelines. Right. So you think it's a set of guidelines. Right. Good. Okay. We'll see. We'll see what others have to say. Indika, what is your view? Indika? Indika?
Governance is doing correct things.
Governance is doing correct things. Okay. Sandarenu?
It's a set of rules and regulations.
Yeah, can you on your cameras? I don't think that you all have any problem of switching on in your cameras. So I prefer if you can, when you're answering, if you at least for that particular moment, because it has to be an interactive session, as I told you. Yes. What's your view?
Set of rules. It's a set of rules and
set
guidelines.
of rules. Okay, right, fine. So it seems to be there are different definitions in among you all. There is no one standard definition. Now, what do you know about this? Governance and Sri Lankan politics. Supun, do you have any experience over this term? Governance and Sri Lankan politics? Yes, Supun.
Yeah, Sratanda, because I think the governance.
Yeah, Just
Yeah. Governance is, yeah, it is all about like leadership and accountability.
okay.
When it comes to when we comparing with the politics, it's all about the leadership. I think concept is.
Okay. Now, what happened during 2015? 15 previous regime? Is it 2015? Yes. So 15-16, no? Mr. Maithripala Sirisena's period. What was the motto that we at that time? Yes, Subodhini, what was the motto? Yes, Indika, what was the motto?
Good governance.
Okay, good governance. Yahapalne. Did you all vote for that Yahapalne? Huh? Yeah, so the Ajanta's reply shows he has voted and he was a little bit disappointed. Is that the case? So I think we are the only country that we change our political leadership for good governance. So at that time, the people thought, okay, we want good governance or Yahapalne. It's how you run the business. And we went up to the extent, majority of the people in this country went up to the extent of changing their political leadership. I will ask you a question, but I don't want the answer because your answer depends on your expectation. Answer depends on the color that you vote. Answer depends on your personal interest as well. So if I'm going to answer whether you are happy about that particular governance, 2016 to 2019, there can be different answers. Some might say, no, no governance was there. Some might say, yes, governance was there. Some might say, okay, there was a balance, 50-50. You can't say bad, you can't say yes. So finally, your answer depends on your personal interest and your political party's interest, and top of that, your expectation. If you expected low, and you might say, okay, there was governance because there was certain public interest were shown and public information act was introduced. So you might say, okay, there was governance. Those who expectations were very high, they might say, okay, there was no governance. So a person who is average might say yes up to a certain extent, no up to a certain extent. So my point is, my personal view, I will give the justification for my personal view as well. For me, there was no governance during that particular period. Why I say, not because of a political agenda, just merely changing one individual, you can't bring governance. You change the leadership, but only one individual can't bring governance to a system. Because when entire systems are corrupted, how can one individual bring governance to a system? Right? You can't do that. Right? Maybe a strong leader is coming, but he can't handle the situation because the rest of the world, the rest of the systems are corrupted. So then you can't have governance in that from that particular individual. So then governance is a broader picture. All of us must contribute for that, right? Yeah, expecting governance from the political parties. And the question whether we are getting governance from them. I'm not in favor of any political party. Reason, I don't normally vote. In my last 20 years, I have voted only once because I don't believe in these politicians. If they do something, it's going to be a bonus for us, right? And we should not wait till they do everything for the system. If you are expecting everything from them, I'm 100% sure you will not get anything. If they're going to do anything, it's going to be a bonus for us. So don't wait till the politician do everything for you. You will not get anything from them. They are coming to the power. They may be having good intention, but after some time they will lose their intention and they will go in the normal way. So finally nothing will happen. Unfortunately, we are a country that we have all the resources, but unfortunately because of this political individual's agenda, we have failed to capitalize that. Now it has become a big governance issue, right? it's a huge governance issue in the system. There is no processes, there is no policies, there is no plans from the top. Then how can we talk good governance in from a company's perspective? How can we expect bankers to bring governance? How can we expect other public companies to bring governance? That's going to be a challenge. So this is the reality. We are expecting a lot of other people to bring governance and do this and that, but finally there's a question, who should get the responsibility for that, right? Now I just want to show you the next slide. Now what are these? All these are films on governance. I think this is the only subject where you have this much of films. 48 odd films are there on governance collapses. I think most of you all have watched most of these movies. This is the only subject that you have this much of movies, all the international famous movies. So all these are governance collapses. So you can see the importance of this particular topic. You come to central bank has a separate set of rules for banks with regard to governance. Listed entity, they have a listed Colombo Stock Exchange and Secretary of Exchange Commission. They have separate set of rules for governance. Best practice code introduced by CS Sri Lanka. They have a best practice code for governance. Basel requirement, right? As bankers, Basel requirements have separate set of rules for governance. So it's important. Top of that, as Sri Lankans, we have a political history to say that we change the leadership for good governance. So from that, all of you all can understand there is a huge requirement for governance. Now the next question is very interesting, right? If you have any questions, please stop me and ask questions. Now where to start this governance? Yes, Subodhini, what do you think? Where to start this governance? Subodhini, where to start this governance? Subodhini. Okay, we'll come back to Subodhini. Taranga, where to start this governance? Taranga. Taranga. So as bankers, I told you at the inception, you have to be interactive, that you have to talk. I don't want you just sitting behind a screen and sleeping. So this is a very important topic for you all to enhance the knowledge on this. And so therefore you all have to interact. Okay, for this moment, I will excuse you all. Ajanta, can you tell me where to start? Governance, where to start?
From the top of an organization.
From the top. Okay. Now, do you all have governance? Alison, do you have governance?
Yeah, we do.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Is it 100% or is it 1%? Yes. 100%?
I think so.
Think so. No, I want a definite answer. Yes or no. Is it 100%?
This is in my organization or?
No, overall, if you take you as a character, overall governance.
Yeah.
You're going to say 100% you have governance.
Yes.
No, your your answers are not certain for me. You're keeping reservation with your answer. Yes, your tone is dropping here and there. So it seems to be you're not. If you're 100% sure I have governance, you should be able to say yes, I have 100% governance. But that tone is not coming. So my what I can get is that you don't have a. I'm just assessing actually. I will say why I want this kind of reply from you all. because we expected political leadership to bring governance. So then governance, we have to start. My personal belief, we have to bring governance. If we don't have governance, then how can we expect these political people who are coming without a background, all these, what do you call this, people with thugs, majority of the politicians are thugs, right? They are coming into the field to control the country, and how can we expect them to bring governance? Okay, fine. Your answer is I will accept. Ajanta, do you have 100% governance?
Yes.
Sure.
Sure, sir.
Okay, I will ask another question. Then I will get your answer. Chamil, what is your view? Do you have 100% governance? 100 now. Normally, when you say yes, it will range from 1% to 100%. So, do you think that you have 100% governance?
No, it's difficult to say.
Difficult. Okay. Subhashana, what is your view? What is your percentage? 100% or less than that? Subhashana? Okay. Anthony? Anthony?
Yeah.
Yeah. What is your percentage if you're going to say governance?
I think we do. Everyone has governance, but
Percentage wise?
yeah, I think one does have
Sorry?
maybe a 70 to 80%.
Okay. So okay, fine, thank you. Right. So what I want to emphasize, the fact is we are expecting those people to bring governance. If we don't have governance, how can they bring? Because we are the people who send them, right? And when we send them and we don't have governance, how can we expect them to bring governance? So this is the challenge that all of you all must understand. Governance is something should come from you, and you have to bring governance. So from a mathematical aspect, measuring 100% governance is not practical, but for argument's sake, that's what I raised, that okay, whether you have governance up to 100%, but anything you will have you have a range. When you say yes, it can be from 1% to 100%. When you say no, it can be from 1% to 100%. Now, do you think that we want a law for a country? What is your view? Do we want a law to a country? Chamil, what do you think? Do we want law to a country? Yes? Do we want law to a country? Who is this Great Lanka? Can you tell me who is this Great Lanka? It's a very good concept, Great Lanka, and your photograph is also very beautiful and very natural one. Yes, who is this Great Lanka? Silence means either you all don't want to participate, you don't want to interactive. That is not a good indication. So what I will do is I will have a record with the students who are interacting with me. And Sampath, can you tell me? Sampath, what is your view? Okay, sir. Yes.
Sampath, yeah, it is important for as a country.
Yeah, law is important. Right. Now, okay, thank you. Now, do you all respect the law of this country? Or do you all breach the country? Breach the law of this country? Ajanta, do you breach the law of this country? Or 100% you are in line with the law? Yes, Ajanta? Ajanta, do you breach this law? Sri Lankan law, or do you always, can you firmly say that I always follow the law of this country for all our activities? Yes, Ajanta?
Yes, try to follow the law for the maximum.
Okay. Trying is not the answer. Okay, I will accept that. Okay, Alison, what's your view?
Yes.
You're following the law. You're not violating the law of this country,
No.
right? Okay. Do you always cross through the crossing?
Yes.
You don't cross from here and there.
No.
Okay, fine, good, right. I will take some other examples. Okay, I will take that example also from here at this point. Do you advise your customers to or do you help your customers to violate the law? Ajanta,
Sorry, sir.
do you advise or help your customers to violate the law?
No, never. No.
No, sure, 100% sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Alison?
I don't directly work with customers, but no.
What is your background? From which area?
I'm attached to the corporate office.
Okay, but a corporate office in the sense corporate, you are working for the corporate management.
Yes.
Okay, you are not dealing with customers, no?
Not directly.
Okay, fine. Okay, Ajanta, what is your background? You're working
Sir,
for
I'm
which
from
bank? Yes.
work at Bank of Sri Lanka, sir, from a branch in Kurunegala.
Right. Good. Good. Then that example is right. Okay. Now, so you told that you're not helping your customers to violate the law, right? Now,
Yes.
do you all accept sole proprietorship checks to the personal account of the customer? Do you accept sole proprietor checks? For an example, my name is Lasanta Senaratna. I have LS Enterprises, a sole proprietorship. So there is a check which comes to my sole proprietorship, LS Enterprises. And if I request you to deposit into my personal account, will you do that? Yes, Ajanta? I know all the bankers are doing the same answers are the same, so don't worry. No, nothing against your organization. We'll respect Bank of Ceylon as one of the most important giant banker in this country. Bank of Ceylon People's Bank, no doubt. We can't even, other private banks can't match their capacities and their service. Yeah, so just to discussion purpose, do you all accept sole proprietorship checks to their personal accounts? Ajanta?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now, why I am requesting you to deposit my sole proprietorship check into my personal account? Any particular reason? Why I am making that request from you? Since you are attached to branch network, why I request you to deposit my personal business check into my personal account? What is the reason? What is the request? Why I am making that request? Yes? Yes, Ajanta? Yes? Ajanta, I'm waiting for your reply. Any particular reason? Why I can't open an account and deposit? Instead of that, I'm requesting you to collect my business check into my personal account. Yes? Any reason? No, because your procedure says you can do it. Is that the reason? Anthony, can you add something for that? Are you from the branch network? Anthony?
No, I'm not from the branch network. I'm attached to customer service.
Customer service. Which bank?
Nations Trust Bank.
Okay, fine. Sampath, what's your view on this?
Customers do not have business account.
Okay, so
Some sometimes only we are getting, not regularly.
Not regularly, you are not encouraging. Okay, fine, fine. Okay, so your view is that sometimes you not regularly. It's a very smart answer. Fine. Finally, I will accept that. Supun, what is your view? Supun?
Yeah, so actually I'm attached to customer service. Don't have much idea about it.
Come on, we want overall bankers. You can't say that you are just attached to customer service. Fine, acceptable. Taranga, what is your view? Taranga?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sorry, Taranga, sorry. Yes. Yeah. You're attached to which bank and what is your background?
I'm working in DB Bank and regional office.
Okay, so then you are handling this. Okay. Why the customers are requesting you to deposit their business account checks to your personal account?
I have not clear answer.
Okay, you have not come across that kind of situation. Right. Okay, then I will give the answer. Maybe that sometimes you all know the answer and you don't want to answer. Fine. Simple reason, the customer wants to avoid taxes. So sometimes the customers come and say, okay, I have to pay taxes if I deposit it to my business account. So you deposit into my personal account. So the bankers have the practice of collecting. The bankers' argument is where, okay, sole proprietorship and the sole proprietor both are the same. Therefore, they collect it. So understand, if you are helping your customers to avoid taxes, evade taxes, it's also a criminal offense. Right, so you can have thousands of argument to say no, that he is responsible to pay tax, we don't have to worry. But still, if you are encouraging, if you are helping a customer to avoid taxes, it's a criminal liability. It will impact in a big way for your organization if you're going to do that. So please be careful. There are a lot of long practices where the bankers are using, but finally, what to do? We have to live with that. Right. Now, when you come to governance, where to start? I told you it's personal. You have to start with you. Once you start with you only, you will be able to bring governance to a system. If you're not starting governance with you, I don't think that no one will bring, we can't expect anyone to bring governance. At the same time, you won't be able to bring governance to the system. So there are three components in your life: personal life, family life, and career. Out of these three, what is your priority number 1, 2, and 3? Personal, family, career. Yes. Can someone, a volunteer, can some volunteer tell me what is your priority? Personal, career life, or your profession? Sorry, family. Alison, what's your priority?
Family.
Number 2?
Yeah.
What is number 1? Family.
Personal. Yeah.
Number 2?
Personal.
3 is
it's all almost in the same level. Second comes career.
Okay, so the last option, okay, whatever the out of the 3, last will be your career. Fine, good. Anthony, what's your view?
So it's it will be the personal life, career, and finally the family.
Okay, personal, right. Okay, so you are giving least priority for your family, right? Okay, so the majority of the answers, it can be just number 1 and 2 will be either personal or family. Majority of the forum or the students, what they say is the career is the third. Yes, I strongly believe in that. Number 1, either you can have it your personal or your family life. So the my priority is family first, second personal, then the third the career. Why I say that career, your family life or your personal, your family life especially, is just like a glass ball. If you drop, that's the end of the story. You don't have the family. But if your career is just like a rubber ball. Once you put that down, it will bounce back and you can find another place. So glass ball, if you're going to damage, that's the end of your story, end of your career as well. So I personally believe that if you have a good, very happy family life, your performance will be very high. And automatically you as an individual, you will grow. and you can contribute more for your organization. And my request, don't make career as your #1 priority. You can have a good career, you will be having a good career, but you will not be having a personal life or your family life. So if you want to forget about your personal and family life, you can give priority #1 for your career. But if you want to have a good career, good personal life, you have to give priority #1 for your family. So if you can balance these three, I think you can bring personal governance. If all of us can bring personal governance, automatically we can share that with our organizations, and all your organizations, financial sector organizations, can contribute to the economy of this country, and all the economies in this world can contribute a beautiful world for the entire world. So it's very simple. It's very common sense approach. There is no magic behind these processes. It's all about governance. Is all about doing the right thing the right way. So you have to do at the right thing at the right way at the right time as well, right? If you have missed certain things in your past, you can't do those today. And what you have to do right now, you have to do, because if you are going to miss those, you will regret in a future date, and finally you will not be able to do those things. So as bankers, what I see with my experience, bankers have missed their priorities, or they have failed to prioritize their life in a proper way. As a result, a lot of bankers, they have a lot of problems. So this is somewhere that we have to rectify if you are going to talk about the quality banking in this system. Right, any questions? You all are free to ask questions. Any questions? Right, so when you come to common sense approach on governance, ethics, integrity, honesty, respect, right? So these are, what are these? Ethics. Do we have ethics? Integrity. Are we trying to maintain our integrity? Honesty. Are we honest? Do we respect our people? Do we respect our customers? Right. I can remember when we joined the bank, we were told by the training department to respect your customer as a king. Because of your king, you are surviving in the business. Now today the situation have changed. When you see the customer, sometimes you say, oh, that person has come. Right? So understand, we are a group of people, we are living out of other people's money. So we have to respect them. Right? We have to fall onto the customer's requirement. Now, if you are a customer of a bank, what happens? Your expectations will be high. You'll be asking a lot of things from the bank. But when you are trying to cater that service to the customers, you have to ensure the same service. Right? So question is there ethics, integrity, honesty, respect. We call these as pillars of governance. But unfortunately, we can't see these pillars in our system. Two important norms in any system: right, wrong, good and bad. Now, there are different people with different religions, different race, different background, right? Within the country, up country, down. So maybe Jaffna, even within the Jaffna province, you get different categories. Among the Muslims, there are different categories. Among the Buddhists, there are different categories. Among the Sinhalese, there are different categories. Even the Catholics, Christian, they have different categories. So finally, all of us expectation under this earth to do the right thing, not to do the wrong thing, or to do the good thing, not to do the bad thing. From the day when we were born, our parents has educated us to say, don't do this, this is bad. If you do this, you will go ended up here. Do this, this is good. Sometimes we get stars from the teachers, from the parents for good deeds, because it's a good deed. They recognize, they want us to do good things, and they appreciate us. We are happy, we have a lot of stars, right? You can achieve good things. So unfortunately, at the latter part, we are now trying to bring good governance. Good and bad are basics. Right and wrong are basics. If all of us try to do the right thing, the question is whether we want to have a law to a country is not there. So the question why initially sometime I raised you whether we want a law. Right? My personal view that we don't want to have a law if all of us are doing the right thing. Now, if there's a contract between two parties, if both parties are in line with the contractual terms, what is the purpose of having a law? If there's a breach, only you will have to go to the courts and get relief. Right? So if all of us are trying to do the right thing in the right manner at the right time, I don't see that the requirement of a law. Now, if you see New Zealand, normally their police stations, they close down at 7 o'clock. What happens in Sri Lankan context? Our police stations, they start hard work after 7 o'clock. So what is the difference? All are human beings. Sri Lankan versus New Zealand. Right? So the difference, the way that they think, I don't know whether you all have any experience over these New Zealand people. You see one classic example, the last World Cup final was between New Zealand and England. The last over, there was a huge questions from that particular over where our umpiring was done by Dharmasena was the umpire, and there was a run out or overthrow, right? So finally, but how, if you have monitored the way that the New Zealand captain behaved at that time, he very professionally he behaved without any issue. So that is the quality that I have seen from that party, that country. They respect the law. Even pandemic situation, I think they are the people who handle it in a professional way because they do respect the law. Here in Sri Lankan context, we have all the laws, right, but we don't respect. If you see the crossing line and if you're not using it, it's also a violation, right? Drinking and driving is wrong. It's the law. But sometimes people, they tend to do that, right? So on top of that, in this system or any system, if you really want to do anything behind the law, you can do it. There is no issue at all. There is no big restriction. You can do anything behind the law, right? Law is a requirement, but behind the law, you can do anything, which is not illegal. So I have seen in the banking sector, bankers are playing behind the law. It's not a violation. It's not a book entry type of violation, but if you see from ethical perspective, it's not right. Now, for a classic example, not from the banking industry. Now, if I kill a person, it's a criminal offense. Definitely, I have to go to the jail. But the law says if I'm killing a person for self-defense, and if I can prove that I did that for self-defense, no problem. It's not a criminal offense. It's not a charge for me. So there are provisions in the law as well to protect the people from the system. So from the business perspective, understand that as bankers, I have seen a lot of transactions, lot of activities where the bankers are performing behind the law. There are no law because you can't introduce a law to touch everything. You will have gaps, you will have loopholes in the law, and that is why the people are getting out of that. So you have seen in certain instances, you know that so and so has done that, but unfortunately it's very difficult for you to prove. Now there are two types of laws, civil law and criminal law. Civil is where when you come to banking practice, we get a lot of civil activities, breach of contracts, payment of checks, right, other services. So the decision of a civil case depends on the balance of probability. You put your evidence into a scale and any party who is having more evidence will win the case. Balance of probability, right? But when you come to criminal cases, it has to be 100% beyond reasonable doubts. So if there's a doubt for 0.0001%, sometimes the criminal will get free because they couldn't prove 100%. So we have seen in certain instances where so and so has imported drugs and so has murdered, and finally these people will get freed because of lack of evidence. But fortunately, when you come to banking business, we don't have to prove up to beyond reasonable doubts. We have to prove only on balance of probability. So any party who is having 51% will win the case, will win the matter, and the party who has 49% will lose, but if he wants, he can appeal it to the higher court. So coming back to my slide, I think whatever the religion, people fight for religion, people fight for race, right? There are, if you see in Sri Lankan history, time to time, wars were there, ethnic wars were there, right? Political wars were there between people. Finally, why are these people fighting? For what? Are we going to take everything what we collect today? What is the assurance of your tomorrow? Do you have any assurance, especially with this pandemic situation? How do any one of y'all know that we have corona right now? No, we don't know. Uncertainty is very high. So fighting among people, religion, races is no point. Under one umbrella, all what we want is to be happy, help others, do the right thing, to be good. So what are these terms? Good, right, happy, happiness, all this common sense. So we are discussing under this level, not only under this level, this is a master's subject, corporate governance. We are discussing common sense at master's level. So you can see the importance of governance in today's context. So my humble request, don't argue with people, don't fight with people for your religion, race. All of us have one intention, to be happy and contribute and go finally leave this world. We are here for a short period. We don't know about tomorrow, right? We have a history yesterday. Beyond that history, sometimes we can't remember, right? We don't want to remember. But future, you might be having a lot of plans. In another 5 years' time, I want to be a branch manager. In another 5 years' time, you want to be a regional manager. You want to be RM. Right? So many targets, but all those are uncertain, especially in today's context. Right? So doing the right things and doing them in the right way is the essence of governance. It's all about human behavior, how they think and how they act. Governance is all about human behavior, nothing more than that, right? So understand that we are in a living world which have limited plans. You might be having a lot of plans, by execution of plans is limited. We don't know what will happen. We don't know whether we will be able to go for our destiny and get what we want. But enjoying each and every moment is important. Past gone, future uncertain, present is the most important. Present is just a moment. So if you can enjoy that moment, right, interactively, helping others, discussing, supporting others, doing good things, I think if you have a future, you can enjoy that. People, they keep on talking about their past. Past is good, history is good. We have to have a history, right? But we should not so much go behind the history. Now there's a clear allegation among the younger generation. So the parents say, okay, not like us, these small kids, they are always using electronic machines, right? Without electronics machines, they can't survive. But those days we used to do that and this and. So that era has gone. We are living in a new era where people say we are into digitalization and all digital work. So we should not compare this generation and the previous generation. This generation, when we go forward, they might say, okay, we use technical things. Now the new generation is flying. So what to do? It's a generation change, right? You can't change the world, but you can change yourself. So respect each and every generation, right? Because they are born in that particular generation. They can't come future. So rather than arguing, commenting on those things, let them handle the way that they want. If you have kids, you guide them in a proper way, which will bring finally what is important. They have to be good citizens of this earth, to Sri Lanka, right? So if you can achieve that, that's it. So don't compare with generation, don't have arguments, disruptions or conflict with among the generations. So no point. You're not going to achieve anything out of that. Right. Importance of governance culture. We say that we want a culture. Now, do we have a culture in this context? What is the culture that we have? Atula, what is the culture that we have seen in this today's context? Do we see a culture? Atula? Humble request from all of you. When I raise your question, please reply, because I want you all to interact. Otherwise, I'll be looking at a screen and I'm talking for 4 hours, which is not practical. Especially, this is not a technical topic. This is a more practical type of a topic. At the end of the day, sometimes you might realize, okay, you have not gained anything. Yes, you will not get anything out of this, my lecture, especially with regard to the governance, because it's common sense. If you have common sense, you will learn a lot of things. If you don't have common sense, you will not learn anything. If you respect people, yes, you will learn a lot of things. If you don't respect, you will not do that. If you have honesty, integrity, if you know, yes, these are important things. For you to think that these are important, you have to exercise that. You will have to have that. Then you will learn a lot of things. Otherwise, you might think, okay, what is this? There's nothing new. We know all of this. Yes, I'm teaching things that you all know. I'm not going to teach anything that you all don't know. Right? Everything what in my whatever the lectures, all lectures will cover the things that you know, but in a different aspect. So please contribute when I ask you to question. Okay, just reply. I'm not going to go in detail and ask you to raise questions. So it's your duty, right? Yes, Atula? What's your view? What importance of a culture? Do we have a culture in this system? Right. Okay, Indika? What's your view, Indika?
When we deploy governance to something, we can get the best use of it, the best results.
Okay. So therefore, we have to bring governance into a system. So culture is a broad thing. Now, culture is, you can't say, okay, this is the culture. So culture is made out of people and their behavior. So if all the people are doing the right thing in the right way, okay, we can say we have a better culture, good culture. So culture, you have to create the culture. Not theories can't bring, right? Laws can't bring culture. Right? So it's all about people's behavior will bring the culture. So for me, we don't have any culture here today. So we are talking about the history and we are going to say, okay, we have a culture. This is what happened. Today, anything interesting is not there. Now, recently I watched this Lakshapati program. Not the last week, the previous week, there was a boy who came for the QA session, and he was in the A-level grade, and there was a question for him. Are you going to school? Yes, I'm going to school, but I'm not happy. He said, yes, because my parents want me to go. He's a A-level student, but I'm not happy. His reason was, we are teaching all routine things, a framework, and we are trying to examine the student's knowledge out of that particular framework. He took a very clear example. He was telling that we're talking about history. History is up to 1979, but we are not talking any history beyond that. There was a war for almost 30 years, but we are not discussing anything about that. And top of that, We are not discussing anything how to overcome a war in future. So then what is the purpose of discussing about the previous history? Immediate history we should know, because most of us are living in that previous history. Anything that happens in 1920, 1910, we don't know. None of us were living in that particular year, right? But latter part, anything from 1980 onwards, we were living in this world. So we should know that history first before we go for the 90s, 20s, and 10s. So he was telling that history was not there, and even the books have failed to give advice as how to avoid that kind of history. Quite right. And on the same day, there was another teacher who was an English teacher. He was telling that quite right, the education system should change. She was telling that present tense, you have to learn in grade 8. This is an example. In grade 8, if you want to learn English medium past tense, we have to go to the grade 9. So in certain instances where it's very difficult for them to explain this, a student who doesn't know about the present tense and goes to the grade 9 and he's learning the past tense, but present tense is missing. Right? So culture, we have to create it. Right? We can't expect the others to create. You can't expect the politician to bring the culture. You have to bring that culture. That's the challenge that we have. Right. What is corporate governance? I prefer that all of you all give a brief introduction about yourself. Before that, I will tell that my name is Lasantha Senaratna. I started my career with Sampath Bank in 1989. I think sometimes your age and my experience is more than your age. I have completed almost 32 years. Still I'm with Sampath. I got the opportunity of changing my career every 4 to 5 years. And this is my 14th title in the bank. I started as a teller. And then I got the opportunities of covering most of the legal areas. Then I was shifted to credit support, branch credit, commercial credit, then legal, group secretariat. Previously, I was the group compliance officer. Currently, I'm the company secretary of Sampath Bank. So since I got the opportunity of changing my career, I think it gave me a lot of knowledge, practical as well as theoretical knowledge, to my credit, to contribute something to the system. So I think that's important. All of you all don't stagnate at one particular place. Wherever, if you get the new position, take it as a challenge. I know bankers, they don't want to get transferred. So they feel, okay, I want comfortable here. You can have a comfortable zone within the organization. That's it. You don't have to move to another department. Once you move, it's within your organization. So why don't you try to live with that particular system, right? So I just want to, yes, Ajanta told that he's from Kurnagal, from Bank of Ceylon. Alison, you are working for which company, which bank?
I work for NDB.
NDB.
Yes.
Okay, right. Okay. Anthony, you are in. You said you are in NTB, no? Customer
Yes,
service.
that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Atula, you are in which bank and which area? Atula?
Sir, I'm in People's Bank.
People's Bank, which branch or which division?
Internal Audit Department, sir.
Okay. Throughout there, you were at the internal audit?
And also, I was in the branch network before joining the Internal Audit Department.
Fine. Good. Chamit, what is your bank and what is your background?
So I'm still reading my degree, Sabarangam University.
Okay. You're not working for an institution, no?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
yes.
good. Great Lanka, can you first tell your name and your company and your background? Great Lanka. Sounds your term is great, but your behavior seems to be not great. Any practical reason? Okay, I will catch you later. Indika, what
I'm
is your
working.
sorry?
I'm working for Ceylon Bank and I'm attached to a credit hub.
Credit, fine, okay. Prasanna, Prasanna, Prasanna.
I'm working for People's Bank.
Okay.
Presently, I work at Internal Audit Department.
Internal audit, right. Sampath,
I am working in Ceylon Bank at branch banking
good,
branch.
okay. Sandhya, 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 yes, I can't hear you. No, sorry, we can't hear you. Okay, you give your introduction later, no problem. Supun,
Yes, sir. I'm working for Nation Trust Bank and attached to American Express Contact Center.
right, okay, good. Taranga,
I'm NDB Banks regional office Kurunagala.
right. Desha, oh Desha, I don't know.
So I'm working for commercial leasing and finance at operations department.
Fine, good. Zizran, Amir, Zizran, yes, Zizran is silent. Anyone did I miss? No, right, fine. Okay, so we have a mix. Majority of y'all are representing the frontliners or banking business. That's good. Then it will be easy for us to discuss the practical issues what we face, because my lectures are more on to corporate banking, corporate side, corporate legal side. But I will try to make it a little bit interactive and discuss the theoretical principles in more common sense aspect. Right. Any questions up to now? Any questions? Right. Now, what is corporate governance? Corporate governance is all about responsible management. Now, the responsible management depends on the person. As behavior will bring responsible person A. B's responsibilities will bring B responsible person. So, point is where it's behavior and your sorry, it's all about people and how they behave, and with that their behavior will reflect whether they are behaving in a responsible way or not. So as bankers, as I told you, we are dealing with other people's money, so we have to be responsible, right? Maybe that you will have different way of handling things, your behavior may be different, but still we have to ensure that we act as responsible people into this earth. Otherwise we will not be able to survive, protect this banking field. Corporate governance represents a set of principles, systems and processes by which a company is governed. Corporate governance is a set of ethical process, customs, policies, laws that affect the way in which a corporation is directed, administered and controlled. So what you can have a lot of definition to this, but for me it's all about people and how they behave in ethical manner. It provides guidelines on how a company can be directed and controlled so as to reach its goals and objectives. So it's another definition. You can formulate your own definition for corporate governance. Why I'm emphasizing more on this corporate governance, because we as bankers are it's a must for us to ensure governance. If you don't meet our governance requirement, there's going to be a breach, there's going to be a violation, and as a result, finally, it will impact your organization good name. So each and every one of us will have a responsibility to protect the interest of our organization in good governance. Right. Corporate governance and COVID. I think we are the main sector affected out of this COVID, especially why we say that most of our customers were affected out of that. So comparing to 2019 profits and 2020, there was a difference because our clients were affected out of that. And in certain aspect, we couldn't run the business. In certain aspect, our non-performing rates went up. So all the banks are today struggling to bring their NPL ratios to a low percentage. And banks are struggling to distribute their the money what they have. Banks, they have billions of money with where they can't invest. Right? They want people to start businesses, but the people are not starting business. Why? There is no business. There's no so-called opportunities in the market. So when you come to COVID, yes, we, as I told you, we started COVID. We had to handle our customer base from the inception because we are part and parcel of the economy, and we have to contribute for that particular economy, right? We can't, and we were considered as essential services by the authorities, and as a result, we are an important group of people. So recently, I heard through from news that there are certain banks where they have COVID expansion. So the point is where we don't know tomorrow, maybe that we have among us, we can have COVID, but it's purely because we were trying to give best service to our customers. That is why we get COVID. So today the government is blaming the citizens of this country to say citizens' behavior was not good. That is why the COVID numbers have increased. That's from a government perspective, it's a shame for them to state that statement. They allow people to behave in that manner, and now they are blaming the people. They wanted to show that everything is normal, and how they are blaming the people to say that they went for New Year, they went shopping, and they went trips. So what? So it's a normal nature of these Sri Lankans. When you have a festival where you have a lot of clothes in your cupboard, almara, but you used to buy another one, and you put into that. Sometimes you are not wearing that. That's the nature of Sri Lankans, right? They sometimes if you take your if you open your almara, how many clothes are there where you have not even seen, right? So that's the nature. You can't stop that. Yeah, Sri Lankans are a group of people. They want to enjoy your life. We enjoy our life. We have problems, but all your problems will be there only for maximum 1 week. After that, we are back to normal. We want to move with the system. Sri Lankans are a group of people who can innovate big things. Unfortunately, our people are lazy. At the same time, Sri Lankans are a group of people who are very lazy, especially the bankers. Innovation, a lot of innovation will come not through digitalization. If you think you can bring a lot of innovations. Now, banking sector, we are trying to bring innovation through digitalization. Do you know what is digitalization? Can anyone give a definition what is digitalization? Simply, I don't know that term. That's what I'm asking from you. Yes? Anthony? Do you know what is, can you give an explanation what is digitalization?
Yeah, it's automation of processes and taking out most of the manual work.
Can we consider that as digitalization? That is automation. That is not digitalization. Right? So digitalization go far beyond that of placing a digital signature. It's digitalization. So in Sri Lanka, we have few organizations only have that facility, placing digital signature. But we say, okay, we have this digitalization. All these are just marketing, I would say. So you have to have, now we say now we have a new national identity card. We have a lot of features are there in that particular, that's what people say. That feature is there, this feature is there. But for me, there's nothing in that. It's another card. So digitalization goes far beyond that. This is automation. We are talking about automation, for converting manual practices into automation processes, IT processes. So there is a huge difference between this and that. Singapore, they have this now. For an example, Singapore and US, for accounts opening, right? They have machines, KYC, know your custom. So in Sri Lankan context, our law says we have to do it physically because our NIC is not compatible for those systems, right? So there are certain features in your face, whatever your age, through that particular machine, they can identify whether this is so and so. But we don't have that sophisticated systems in Sri Lanka. You don't have to go to a bank, right? Through online systems, they can handle certain things. That is not online banking. This we have mixed. Online banking is not digitalization. The term digitalization goes beyond that. Online banking is where the physical banking activities we have converted into a system. Now you can open your account online. So there's a huge difference. So I think we as the sector are talking about things that we don't have right now, which will come in long run. Yes, I will give a break around 3:45. Don't worry. Normally after 2 hours, I will give you the break. Don't worry. Right? Fine, accepted. Right. Okay. Then coming to the next slide. Why governance rules? Greater the degree of separation of ownership and the management, the greater the agency problem. Now, as bankers, we should know that if you take a, what are the types of companies that we have? Supun, can you tell me what are the types of companies that we have in our system? In local context, what are the types of businesses? What are the types of businesses that we have? Ajanta, what are the types of businesses that we have? Ajanta?
Sole proprietorship, partnerships,
Okay.
Limited liability companies.
Okay. What are the types of limited liability companies? There are
Private.
different. Private, yes. Public listed and public unlisted, right? So sole proprietorship is single person running a business. Partnership is 2 or more people running a business with the view of earning profits. Private companies means it can be a single shareholder company, 1 person running a business, or it can be 2-3 shareholders with 1 or 2 directors or 3-4 directors. It's a private owned business. Public unlisted means where we have sold shares to the public. Now, for an example, if all of us are forming a company, you are going to appoint me as a director and with 1 or 2 members, and all of you are going to be shareholders. So it's a public entity which are not listed because we have taken public money. You all have invested in that company. Public listed is where there is entities which are listed in the Colombo Stock Exchange, right? So there are 300 odd listed entities, and all those listed entities have listed in the Colombo Stock Exchange. So in case of public listed companies, they have taken public money. Now, as bankers, we have taken public deposits. Your stated capital or your shareholders' money versus your depositors' money equals 1 into 8. If your shareholders' money is 1, your depositors' money would be 8 times. So it's a huge amount. We have a lot of responsibilities towards our depositors rather than other stakeholders. So that is why the central bank governance rules are there. That is why the central bank supervision is coming to check your books, to make sure that you are using depositors' money wisely. Collapse of, for an example, if all the depositors are not paying their money, what happens to your bank? Can you survive? No, you can't survive. Will not be able to survive at all. You're going to collapse. If tomorrow all your customers start withdrawing money, can you survive? No, you can't survive. You will collapse. because you don't keep money with you other than the reserve requirements, right? Even central bank will not be able to help you. You're using depositors' money in term lending, a short term, medium term, long term housing loans. So to recover a housing loan, we had to wait for 20 years. The person who has given money today will assume that X has given 100 million, and if they will think that he is the only depositor, and X is 100 million you have given to Y for 5 years. If X tomorrow comes and try to withdraw the money, can you pay him? No, you won't be able to pay, because if Y is not going to pay until 5 years. So you're going to collapse. Automatically you will collapse. So bankers must manage this assets and liability, ALCO management. You will get a committee, AL monitoring committee, AL management committee, to balance these assets and liabilities. If you have borrowed from the public, those are your liabilities. If you have lent money to a company or individual, that's your asset. So without getting the assets, you won't be able to pay all your liabilities. So managing assets and liability is a huge responsibility of the bank. That comes with the co-banking. Co-banking, accepting deposits and lending. So if you don't get deposits, you won't be able to lend. At the same time, if you don't get the installment from the lenders or the people who have borrowed from you, you will not be able to pay the depositors. So you need to have a balance between these two, and you have to have a proper management system in that. So especially in case when the organization is big, the gap between owners and managers. Now owners are the, if you take a company, you will have shareholders in your company, they are the owners. They have appointed a group of people to run the show. That's your directors. So it's the responsibility of the directors to run the show in line with the expectation of all the stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders of your company? What is the most important stakeholder in your company? Supun? Most important stakeholder? Customers. Great Lanka, can you tell me what's your name and what's your background, from which institute? I think you seems to be, do you have any problem with your mic? Do you have any problem with your mic? Great Lanka? Okay, fine. Can you tell me which bank and what is your area? What is the bank? Are you working? Right, good. Okay. Pushpa Kumar from HNP. Fine, fine. No problem. Good. So if y'all have any practical issues, just let me know, because I don't know behind the screen whether y'all are interactively participating or not. No problem, Amir. If you have any practical issues, just let me know, rather than sitting there silently, because then it feels very odd and I feel that you're not contributing to me and my discussion. Right, fine, good. Any questions? Any questions? Now, governance rules. Yes, you will have a lot of governance rules. As I told you, time to time, it's important to ensure, upgrade these governance rules, and in order to protect the interest of all the stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders of a company? Out of the customers, out of the stakeholders, Kumara says that customers are the most important stakeholders. Yes. Ajanta, most important stakeholder. Who is the most important stakeholder for you? Yes, Ajanta. What's your investor? Supon says investor. Okay.
The whole public, sir.
Public. Okay. Supun, what's your view? Udesha? Competitors. Okay. Supun, employees. Yes. Alison, what's your view?
Shareholders?
Shareholders. Right. Maybe that you are working for the corporate flow, you're more concerned on the shareholders. As Supun stated, yes, it's the employees. You need to keep your employees happy. If you keep your employees happy, they will perform well. They will work for their organization. And if their performance are high, their outcome is high, automatically you can give the best service to your customers. If the customers are happy, they will bring new relationships with you all. New relationship means cross-selling. If you have more cross-sellings, you can get a lot of profits. And if you have a lot of profits, you can pay more to your shareholders. You can pay your creditors on time. You can give quality service to your customers at a lower cost. You can pay taxes on time, right? You can do a lot of CSR projects. So the triggering point is your employees. You need to keep your employees happy. If you can keep your employees happy, only your organization can grow. Right. So the point what we want to understand is the keeping people happy. If you can, because finally we say, okay, this team, that team, X team, Y team, and we need to understand, we need to recognize the team. Team X, team Y, team B, team A. So as far as you are recognizing your team, you can say, okay, we are happy. Now, as employees, are you all happy working for your organization? Don't worry, I'm not going to inform your organization that so and so stated no. What's your genuine view? Are you all happy working for your organization? Yes? Sunday, you want to raise something? Okay. Amir says no. Alison, are you happy?
Yes.
100%?
Yes.
Right. Okay. I know that in certain aspect, if it's your area or the place what you're working, you can't go against that, right? So basically, what I see in my analysis, majority of the people are not happy. But at the same time, there is a group of people, few percent, small percentage that they are happy. If you have a career plan, if you have the opportunity of guiding, climbing this particular ladder, and if you see a clear path, and if you are enjoying your life, yes, you are a person who are you are happy with your organization. And if you are a person who is willing to accept challenges, whatever said and done, you know how to handle it. No problem. You bring me the problem, I will handle it. Right. So those type of people, they are happy. Even at bad time, they are happy. Even at good time also, they are happy. No wonder. So that is the quality that we need to understand. Most of the majority of the organization, people are not happy. Okay. And I asked, no, we are not happy. Why you are not happy? Because you can't enjoy the task. If you are enjoying your task, if you are enjoying your life, you can be happy. What is the restriction? Restriction, you put your restriction. We say, okay, we should not think out of the box. We draw a box and we think inside the box. Right? The box is your box. Forget about the box. Think there is no box. If you feel that you don't have, if you don't concentrate on a box, it will be easy for you to run the show. Right? But if you're going to draw a box and if you're going to play within that, you will get easily frustrated. Ayo, I'm not happy. I don't have that. I don't have this. People are grumbling for the things that they don't have, but they don't capitalize the things what they have. This is where we have gone wrong as a country. Anyone who is planning to migrate? Anthony, are you planning to migrate?
No such plans for now, sir.
Okay, so future maybe. Is that the case? Okay. Supun?
Yes.
Supun, are there any
Yes,
plans
sir.
for you to migrate?
Currently, I don't have a plan. Hopefully,
plan.
in future, maybe.
Okay, right. Udesha, what's your view? Planning to migrate?
Not yet, sir.
So that means in future you have plans. Is that
Yeah,
the case?
yes, most probably.
Okay. Alison, any plans to migrate?
Not really.
Okay. Now people migrate for different reasons. Okay, they might say Sri Lankan politics is not good. Okay, Sri Lankan education is not good. We don't have our children don't have a future in Sri Lanka. Right? So all these are statements. Who is going to lead the country is not material for you and me. If you are working hard, if you are doing your job well, your organization will protect you. You will be happy. No issue. Education system, for me, we have the best education system. So changing the education system is a different story. Okay, we have competitive exam, grade 5 exam, O level, A level, university. So if you see other countries, it's the same. So only difference what I see, the food what we eat and the infrastructure. So if you have money, if you go to, there are high class hotels, there are high class supermarkets, you can get the same stuff. Infrastructure, yes, we are a country, developing country. For so many years, we are in a developing country. From a developing country's perspective, it's very good. So then you have everything, but you always grumble for the things that you don't have. Understand, we are the #1 citizen in this country, but when you go to another country, you're #2, or maybe you're #3 or #4. So our people, now one classic example. My sister's son, he was doing well in Sri Lanka. He went to Trinity and he played rugby. He got a good opportunity in one of the leading firms here, but he went for education to Australia. He went for management, but he ended up as a went into bakery industry. He has that sense, I would say. But one particular day, he used to do these odd jobs, no choice. Right? Cleaning was very tough. He has to peel 100 kilos of onions in a particular night. Here, he was doing nothing, I would say. Now, the Sri Lankans, they go and do all these odd jobs at their other countries, but they can't clean their homes. They can't clean their toilets here. So, are we migrating to another country to do odd jobs? So, what they say is, okay, initially you have to do odd jobs, and latter part you can enjoy well. No, those people who have migrated, there are very few people who are enjoying well. They don't really share their thoughts with you all. When they come here, they want to rush back to their country because once they go, they will lose their job. So for me, Sri Lanka is the best country, right? Beautiful country in this earth. We have a lot of opportunities. We have a lot of things to admire. We have a lot of things to share and learn, but we are not using that. Now, do you all know SWOT analysis? SWOT? SWOT? Yes? Anthony, do you know what is SWOT?
Yes, that's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats.
Yeah, out of these 4, what is most important for you?
I would say opportunities.
Okay. Sampath, out of these 4, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, what is most important for you?
I think opportunities.
Opportunities. Good. Supun, what's your view?
Opportunities.
Okay. Udesha, what's your view?
Sir, actually, if we identify our strengths, we can identify our opportunities.
Okay, so you say strength is number one. Okay. Taranga, what's your view? Taranga?
Yes, sir. I
What
think
are,
opportunities. All four kinds are very important, but opportunities actually.
okay. Alison?
Strength.
Strengths. Sandhya? Sandhya? Ajanta? Sandhya, your
Strength.
mind. Strengths, right. So there are different views, but majority says opportunities. I'm happy, right? Opportunities is the number one. Okay. Now, if I request you to take a piece of paper and write the opportunities, write the strengths and write the weaknesses and write the threats personally, I'm quite sure that none of you all will have threats. I don't see that if you have a land case with your neighbor, definitely you will have a threat. Other than that, I don't think that you all have threats. You are not a business organization. You all are individuals. So you will have strengths. You will have weaknesses. You can have opportunities. Now, if I request you to prepare a list, definitely you will highlight 20 odd strengths. If I request you to highlight your weaknesses, you will have 3, 4 maximus. Opportunities is a question, because sometimes you don't know your opportunities, or with great difficulty you will find one. Now, what is more important? Now you know you have a lot of strengths. Alison, were you able to use all your strengths in your day-to-day activities? Yes?
No.
No. Utesha, are you using all your strengths for your day-to-day activities?
No.
Yes. So, those who now, if you see that weaknesses as your main focus, have you taken any action to overcome your weaknesses? I doubt. So my personal view, you need to focus on your opportunities. You need to use your strengths to arrive at those opportunities. And weaknesses, you prioritize high, medium, and low. Any high weaknesses you have to address. Medium and low, try to live with that. Because majority of these people, what they do, they try to overcome the weaknesses, but they are not capitalizing on their strengths. As a result, they are not doing anything. People, they want to say, okay, I have this much of strengths, but they are not using, they don't know how to use it. If you want to use your strengths, you have to identify your opportunities. So if you feel that this is not your business, banking is a boring business, taking money and selling back, giving back to my bankers, any person can do that, right? But we have to make it more professional, do it in a different way, right? In order to do that, you should know the opportunities what you have in the market. Unfortunately, bankers are fighting for each other for the same product. When X bank is going to produce a product, introduce a product, Y bank will change, copy and change 1 or 2 features and relaunch it or launch it to say that we are the number one for this. So we don't see our opportunity. If you focus on your opportunities individually as well as organization, I know that you all can't change the organization. Think about you. If you know your opportunities, work on that. You don't have to compete with anyone. Your strengths, Desha's strengths, Supun's strengths, Sampat's strengths, Anthony's strengths are different. All your 4 of your opportunities are different. All your weaknesses are different. So capitalize on the opportunities what you have. If you feel this is not the industry for you to survive, move out. Take that call immediately. And use your strengths. See how you can use all your strengths. Maybe your presentation, maybe your character, maybe your the way you talk, maybe your friendly character relationship with others, maybe that your knowledge, maybe your background, maybe your school, right? Maybe you know 3-4 languages. So those are strengths. Try to use it. Otherwise, it will get waste. Weaknesses, anything material you have to address, but don't worry about the weaknesses. Weaknesses is something that you can overcome, you can handle it. But if you have major weaknesses, high risk type of weaknesses, address them then and there, immediately. And forget about the average or medium and low. Look for the opportunity. So companies must focus on that aspect. As bankers, we have to focus on that aspect to make sure that we capitalize on our opportunities. Right, any questions? No questions. Right. Can you see the slides? Can you see the slides?
Yes.
Okay. Corporate,
Yes, sir.
okay. Corporate governance should not be a box ticking exercise. So today what has happened, this corporate governance is a box ticking exercise. You tick the box and say, okay, we have done it. But actually you have not done. I told you at the beginning, what if you say you have done, it will range from 1% to 100%. So any person who have done 1% might tick the box, but it's 1%. 100% it's not possible, but you can touch anything above 80%. But if you have technical figures, you can achieve 100% as well. So it's how you define it, how do you look at it, and how you run the show. Now, when you come to rules, UK, Sri Lanka versus US governance rules, UK and Sri Lanka almost similar. We were a co-colonial, we were under them, and a lot of UK principles, English laws are there in Sri Lanka. We are working with them. We are time to time we change. If you take the Bills of Exchange Ordinance, is a long time 80s one we are using. Contract law, we use UK law or English law, right? What is our common law? What is our common law? Sri Lankan common law?
Roman Dutch law.
Yeah, Roman Dutch law. So it came from the Romans, and we are using it for especially for marriage. It's a Roman Dutch law. Unless you are governed from Muslim or Tesavalame law, it's the Roman Dutch law. So for few transactions, personal type of transactions, we used this Roman Dutch law, but majority of the transactions, commercial transactions, insurance, imports, exports, all comes from English law.
English law.
Yes, right. Now, why corporate governance so important? Without investor confidence, market will not thrive. So we need to bring investor confidence. If you can bring investor confidence only, we'll be able to develop this country. Time to time, politicians are trying to change. Time to time, every 5 to 4 years, the political agendas are changing. People want to bring new things. Now, you saw when the first corona attack came, everyone started growing plants. Now, do you plant plants today? Yes. Anyone who started and now not doing that? Are you planting flowers today? Plants? Vegetables? Udesha, what was your experience?
Now it's no, sir.
But those days, yes, no?
Yeah.
Yeah. Alison, what happened those days? During the first corona?
I actually, no, I didn't, but my husband did and he's continuing. I never did it.
Okay, very good, very good. Because your husband is doing only, it's get continued, no? If you have started,
Yes.
I don't think. Yes, that's good. Right, okay. Chanil, do you have any experience over that? Ajanta? Did you start growing plants?
Yes,
And,
sir.
yeah, now what has happened? Yes? Are there two participating from one mic? Ajanta? No. Is that Sunday is replying? Okay, fine. Anyhow, now this is what happened. Now almost, okay, the political leadership stated, okay, you have to grow, then people started growing. So you need to understand, okay, what is your purpose? Are you going to grow for your personal requirement, or are you going to grow for the market? So the two different things. But if you're growing for yourself, yes, for your family consumption, that's fine. But you have to continue. But if your market is bigger than that, I think it has to do it in a different way. Now, when the government says, okay, you grow, people started growing ginger and continuously did that. When the harvest came, there was no market. With the pepper is also same. Right? So my personal belief, the growing is not the problem, but putting that into the next level is the biggest issue. Export. All of us can't export, but that is why the government is there. So what they should do is they should have identified district-wise district and see what are the main crops that you can grow in those districts, and inform the farmers, okay, these are the 3 crops that you can grow. Maybe first paddy, second something, third, and we will give give all support for you, knowledge, fertilizer, buy everything in for these 3. So you develop, you grow in this particular district. So you can have institutions or knowledge sharing institutions goes to that particular area. They can have their research in that particular area. They can, all these big companies can purchase from those districts and they can export it. Now today what happens, everyone is growing, but they don't see a market, they don't have a price. Because of that's also a political agenda. So it's very simple to manage this process. Unfortunately, it's not happening. So as a result, even if you go to Jaffna, you can see paddy. You can, if you go to Gaul, you can see paddy. Okay, when you go to Kegol, you can see paddy. Right? If you go to Vaunia, you can see paddy. But still, we are importing paddy from other countries. So what's the purpose? So we are not focused. As a country, we are not focused. Right? So you need to focus. Forget about the politicians and the political parties. You focus, get focused, and you do what is right and what is correct. And make sure that you focus on your vision, on your opportunities, use your strengths, and identify your key important weaknesses and try to address that. Okay, any questions? Right, so I will give you the break. It's 3:40. Once again, come back at 4 o'clock, then we'll continue. Next session onward, we can start at 1:30. Any questions before we break? So I want all, there are 20 numbers, including the 2 IBSL links. So then altogether there are 17, no half days, no short leaves, right? So I want all of you to join. I'm going to keep a record on that. And if you have any specific reason, you can excuse. But other than that, I'm expecting all of you to join till the end of this session, right? Because it's you paid money, you decided to sacrifice your free time with this program. And as a result, you all have to join and you all have to share your views as well as gather knowledge. Okay, then we'll have a break. Come back in around 4 o'clock. Thank you. Hello, can we start? Right. Any questions? Are there any questions? Right. Now, why corporate governance for PLCs? Can you hear me and can you see the slides?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thanks. Public investments hence to build investor confidence. So we are taking public money. So no option. We have to build confidence. So if the if you can develop confidence, only people will give their money to us. If you fail to build the confidence over people, customers will not deposit their money with us. So in Sri Lankan context, the banking sector was able to maintain confidence among the people. But sometime back, due to different companies, or due to different reasons, finance companies had some problems. Now, out of the finance companies, there are giant finance companies better than banks. They're financially stable and they are performing better than banks. So what you have to understand is finance companies and the banks are two different types of businesses, though we categorize both in the same sector. Finance sector, their nature of business and their approach is different from the banking sector. But a quick service, right? A little bit higher profit margin. They take a lot of risk, and service is quick compared to banking sector. Banking sector, we always take risk averse. We always take precautions, right? When it comes to service, we are not the best comparing with finance companies. Our margins are less. So if you want to take a risk, you can deal with a finance company, but if you want less risk, you deal with banks. So the customers who are dealing with banking sector and finance companies are two different categories. Right? So their approach, their way of handling things, their recovery methods are different. But there are very good finance companies who are better than banks. So, but still, whatever the sector, you need to build confidence over your stakeholders. When you come to banking sector and finance companies, we are taking public money. Therefore, for public confidence, investor confidence is important. Now, directors act as agents of the company. Directors are appointed by the shareholders to run the show. And therefore, we see there is a conflict between the shareholders and the directors. Because directors have to balance all stakeholder interests, employees, suppliers, consumers, customers, whereas the shareholders, what they want is their return. Majority of the shareholders, they are more focused on returns. If you have been for an annual general meeting of a company, right, you can see the shareholders, they raise concerns, they questions why you are paying a low dividend rate, whereas other companies paying a high dividend rate, right? Why your return is low, why your profits are low. So they ask a lot of questions at the annual general meeting. So if you have anyone who is having experience participated at annual general meeting, yes, anyone with experience? No. Alison, what about you?
No, so I had to miss it this time.
So your AGM is over now?
It's over. I couldn't go.
Okay. Previously, were you able to?
No.
Okay.
This was my first.
Okay. Earlier, you joined recently to NDB?
Yes, I did. I'm completing 8 months.
Okay. Earlier, where were you working?
I was attached to Bowers.
Okay. Right. Okay. Fine. Right. Regulated companies meet challenges. So there are a lot of challenges for the regulated companies. Now, when you take the banking sector, we have different defense lines. We call them as different defense lines. Those who are working for audit teams, what is your defense line? Auditors? What is your defense line? You are in which defense line? Yes? Those who are working for the audit departments? Is it the first defense line? Is the second or third? Fourth? So normally the business is the first defense line. Okay. And the second is your compliance and risk. Third is your audit, internal audit. Fourth is your external audit. Fifth is the central bank audit. So we are the only business entity or business group where we have 5 defense lines, but still we see wrong activities which are not in compliance are there in the banking business. So it's mainly due to the competition where limited customers are there. Everyone is fighting for those limited customers, so no option. Therefore, sometimes the business is compelled to do wrong activities in order to protect their or to safeguard their bottom line results. I think Prasanna has joined. Prasanna, can you just give a brief introduction about yourself and your institution? Prasanna?
I'm working for People's Bank.
Okay, which department?
Internal audit department. Sir.
Internal audit, okay. Right, good. So we get a lot of auditors here. It's good. So PLCs are the listed entities, are part of the economy. So more protection, more trust should come from the PLCs. No option with regard to that. So each and every PLC must understand they are part and parcel of the economy. So all the banks are part and parcel of the economy. That is why we say that you need to maintain high level of transparency, honesty, integrity, fairness when you are driving the business. Right. Now, what is CSR? What is CSR? What do you know about CSR? Yes? Can someone tell me what is CSR? Yes? Can someone tell me what is CSR? Anthony, what is CSR?
It's a corporate social responsibility.
Yeah, what do you do as CSR?
So there are different projects that each organization does to ensure that they be part of CSR.
Okay. So what are the common activities what you see in your organization as well as the other organization?
So helping the community on certain things, mainly during the pandemic, and prior to that as well, on certain growth factors.
Right. So more into social work, right? That's CSR. How you interpret? Right. Udesha, how you look at CSR? What is CSR and what you do as CSR? Yes.
It's corporate social responsibility. Like the companies should like do something for the society, for a to save like their responsibility to make the society.
You need to protect the society. Is that the case? Okay.
Society, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
like it's like their responsibility.
Okay. Right. Supun, how do you look at CSR? What is CSR and what you do as CSR in your organization?
Yeah, it is so the corporate social responsibility, and whereas the organizations support the community for the betterment of day-to-day things like.
Okay, so more into right. Taranga, what's your view? Taranga?
So
what is CSR and what do you do as CSR in your organization? How do you look at CSR?
it is a corporate social responsible in being responsible and to help the society in corporate level.
Right. Okay. Eliza, what's your view?
I think for me, it's a platform that a corporate can engage with the surrounding, the society, and develop more relationships.
Okay.
or like have image and help them out.
Okay, so more focusing on the society. What your argument is, your organization is trying to help the society to develop or improve their whatever you're with your problems. Is that the case?
Yeah.
Okay, right. Ajanta. Okay, right. Now, CSR, yes, I know that all the organizations are more focused on the society, and sometimes they develop, they clean beaches, they clean, they paint hospitals and schools and construct libraries. So all those are important. I have no argument, no issue on that. But CSR, you should start with your employees. You have to keep them happy. You have to look after your employees. If you can look after your employees, as I told you, the same equation, if employees are happy, they will perform well. If performance are high quality, high valued products will come. If high valued, high quality products means more customers mean more turnover. Turnover means more profits. More profits, you can pay high returns for your as dividends. You can pay taxes on time. You can share part of that with your customers. To improve, you can do research and development for quality. You can give good bonuses for your employees, right? You can have a lot of opportunities for expansion. It will help your employees to move up in their career. So a lot of opportunities will start if you can start this CSR with your employees. So I have seen some companies best CSR citizen, but their employees are not happy. So how can you be the best corporate citizen whereas your employees are not happy? Right. So I can see a relationship between these two. If all your employees are happy, you can do a lot of CSR. So as I told you at the beginning, this CSR or the corporate governance should not be a box ticking exercise. You tick the box and you say, okay, we have done, but what you have done is not right. So unfortunately, sometimes the organization, they allocate money for CSR from the marketing budget. Marketing will handle the CSR. No, it should not be a marketing budget, I would say. Because sometimes some companies, they cost for the investment on CSR will be 1 million and they put a lot of paper advertisement by spending 2 million. So good things you don't have to market. Automatically you will get the due recognition for that. When you give 100 rupees to a poor person, are you going to put that in the papers to say, okay, I gave 100 rupees? No. Internally you will be happy and you know what you did was right. So then the system will bless you for doing good things. And at the same time, the receiver will be happy because receiver know that you did this good deed to me. Because of that, I'm happy today. So this internal relationship, internal bonding is much more important than putting a paper notice to say that we have cleaned the beach. Okay. Every Sunday you can see when you drive, when you are moving from this Marine Drive, every Sunday you can see a beach cleaning group. But why every Sunday? Well, can't we stop that permanently? Can't we educate people to say, okay, don't do this. Put all your waste into a basket. Right? So why can't we do that? Reason, people, they don't respect the law. They don't respect people around us. And simply they want what they want to do, but they always try to get maximum from the system, but without giving any return to the system. So this is the biggest issue what we see in this the whole world. It's a world matter, right? People have failed to identify what their responsibilities, and majority of the people are fighting for rights. Now you have rights and responsibilities, duties. What are more important? Rights or duties? Yes. Ajanta, what is more important? Your duties or your rights? Yes, Ajanta.
Duties.
Duties. Okay. Indika, what are more important?
Duties.
Prasanna? Prasanna?
Duties. If we do the duties, our rights will already came.
Yes, if you do your
First, we
duties.
should do our duties.
Yes, yes. First, you have to do your duties, and automatically your rights will be protected. Now, if you see the university students, what happened? They're fighting for their rights. They're fighting to change the country. They're fighting to change the political leadership, but their duty is to get the free education and come out and to do something to the system. All majority of these parliamentarians were university students some time back. Those days they were fighting for this, changing the country, changing the political system. But when they go and sit inside the parliament, what happens? They forget about the basics and the history. So what is the purpose of having history if you can't remember that history? Right? So the point, you fight for your duties. Sorry, you fight for your rights, but you're not fulfilling your duties. That I have seen in the business, the banking sector. Right? When you don't get the promotion, you start blaming your supervisor, you start blaming your management, you start blaming the process. I do agree there are some, in certain instances, sometimes you will have problems of getting the promotion. Maybe that you don't, there can be different reasons. Sometimes you are not doing your job well. Sometimes you are doing your job, but you don't have good terms with your boss. Always you are trying to do the right thing. Your boss is not recognizing those. You are a real headache for your boss. So the point is, where if you are doing something, you do it in good sense without thinking your return. One fine day you will get all the returns. So you have to wait till such day. Right? People are fighting for their rights, but they are not executing their duties. So if you start executing your duties, automatically you will get highlighted. You will be a character that they can't avoid, ignore. They're compelled to give you the promotion. So I'm 100% sure if you take, I'm 100% sure that if you take all of Indica, I think you're right. So if I'm 100% sure, majority of you are not performing up to your maximum. Right? Anyone who is performing 100%, I'm expecting you to give you the feedback. If X things, okay, I'm performing 100%, you have to on your mic and say 100% performing. Anyone who is Indica, I think there's problem with your mic. Please mute your mic. Thank you. Right, anyone who is performing 100%? 90%? I'm expecting you to give a, right? I'm expecting you to give your feedback. 90%? No? 80%? No? 70%? If you're going to say I'm 70% performing, just let me know. Otherwise, I'm not going to count you. Sandhya says 90%. Okay. What about others? Ajantani says 75%. Okay. Ziad 80. Pushpa Kumar 70. Alison 90. Okay. Sampath 80. Tesha 85, Shamil 75. So no hundreds. So what is the restriction that you all have? Who is blocking your 100% performance? Alison, is anyone blocking your balance 10%? Or you're lazy?
No, because there are certain things that you can't do completely, the things that you want the way you want. So, so because of that, sometimes you don't feel that you can do 100%.
Okay. What about the things that you can do, and are you doing it 100%?
Yes.
Okay. So overall, yeah. So you're taking your overall as 100%, 90%.
Yes, overall.
Yeah. What about your personal life? Is that the same result, or is it something more, or is that something less?
Less.
Less.
Yes.
Yeah. What is the percentage?
Maybe 75.
Yes. So why? What is the reason?
Lazy.
Why? Yes. That's the biggest issue.
Yes.
Sri Lankans, I told you at the beginning, very lazy. I'm not criticizing any one of y'all, but I want to show is that if you really want, you can do better than this. Maybe technically 100% is not possible, but when you come to your report appraisals, what do you expect? Do you expect 75%, 85%, 70, 80? Do you expect outstanding or excellent? But your performance are less than that. So how can you expect 75? How can you expect 100? And if your performance are 75, it's just like you're fighting for your rights, but you're not executing your duties. Your right is 100% appraisal, but your duty, you should perform 100%, but your performance 75%. So we are conflicting each other, our statement, our behavior. So my concern that you all, each and everyone will have different opportunities. If each and everyone will have different strengths, weaknesses. If you really capitalize, you can go up to the maximum what you can do. You should not compare you with your neighbor. You should not compare you with your another manager. Yes, if you say Kurnagala manager and Kabil say Liability manager, two different areas, two different opportunities, two different teams, two different strengths, two different weaknesses. So why do you want to compare these two? Don't compare. Right? So if you really want, if you really focus, you can do better than this. I told you at the beginning, we are here for a short period, so give the maximum. If you give maximum and if you fail, fine, that's accepted. You know that your maximum you have done, but it failed. So what? That's it. Forget about that. Right? So as human beings, our expectations are very high. When we can't achieve our expectations, we get sad, we get frustrated. Pressure is there, tension is there. So many other things. Depression, it's a common term today. Depression, how can you have depression? If you're happy with what you have, forget about the things that you don't have. What you have, I will not have. What I have, you will not have. That's it. That's the difference between you and me. All are human beings. That's it. So why do you want to struggle for this? You can't bring governance if you're struggling in a process. So governance is important. We are talking about governance, good processes, good practices. To bring good processes and good practices, you have to contribute maximum. While contributing, if you fail, that's fine. That's accepted positively. Yes, I have done my maximum. That's it. Normally, what I see after examination, once you get the results, you would say, okay, if I had another half an hour, I would have written this. If I started studying 1 week earlier, I would have got an A pass. So don't do that. Satisfactory of a person is not easy. Satisfying a person is not easy. But you should be able to satisfy yourself. Do something that you are happy. Yes, I have done my job. You are going to get the promotion or not is immaterial. You do your job. If you're not happy, you leave it. You don't leave, but at the same time, you blame your organization. And you're trying to change the leadership model. You can't change. It's just like the school, the university students trying to change the political system in Sri Lanka. Gradually, you have to go up onto the ladder, climb the ladder, and once you come a management person, try to change at that point. But at the same time, you can change your department. You can contribute better to your department, right? Then finally, you have to be happy. So that's why employees, for CSR perspective, keeping employees is one of the most important things, right? Now, governance and management. Governance, normally we denote with the circle. Management, we devote with the triangle. Governance is, sorry, circle, the board of directors, and the triangle is the management. If you see, analyze your organization, they have a board of directors, they have the management. Those people who are sitting both board as well as the management are called executive directors. So governance responsibility is with the board, management responsibility with the management. So in your organization, you have a hierarchy. Top, you will have the managing director, then you will have the second layer, third layer, fourth layer. Above the management, you will have the board of directors. So there has to be a clear relationship between these two. Governance, whose responsibility, I told you, it's a responsibility, not only the board, it's you as well. Bringing governance to yourself is your responsibility. I can request you to bring governance, but developing governance within you, it's your responsibility. I can't do anything on that. Bringing a discipline to your system is your responsibility. Only you can do it. I can't do anything on that. How can you change you? I can advise you, but you have to change. So the governance is the responsibility of the board, but to bring governance, all of us must work together. You saw what happened in 2015. The majority of the people changed the leader for governance, but rest of the people relaxed. And we expect that individual to bring governance. In the current regime, something similar is happening. Everything is there. Power is there. Leadership is there. Okay, everything is there. But there are certain questions are there whether are we getting what we really wanted. So merely changing one individual can't bring governance to a system. We all must change. Now this classic example is when you come to business world, it's a banking world. Banking business is a moratorium. Giving moratorium to the businesses. Yes, there are certain businesses where you have to give moratorium, assist them, because they are not performing well. But out of the companies, majority are doing well. You don't have to give moratorium for them. So today people take this moratorium, advantage of moratorium, and they settle high valued loans. No investments or less number of investments. Lot of capital is with the bank. You have a lot of money. Billions and billions of money where you can't lend. Single digit lending. Less than 5% type of deposits. Right? Still the commercial, the banking sector was able to keep a 4% margin. Unless you touch the volumes, you will not be able to maintain your profit margins. Earlier, the profit margins were very high, more than 10% or more than 8%. But today the margins are 4%. It's low compared to that. Right? On top of that, you get a lot of NPLs. So when you come to NPLs, what is more important, rather than moving to a legal battle, best would be to negotiate with the customer and give a repayment terms or request him to settle the capital and a certain percentage of interest and proceed. Because once you get the capital, you can reinvest. But if you think that the legal battle is the best, legal battle is not the best, it's the worst. So you should not go for legal battles. It will drag for years and years and years. Your money, customer money, is going to waste. So finally, the organization or the financial institution will not be able to get anything from them. Any questions? I prefer if you can ask questions as well, rather than me wait. You are waiting for me to ask questions, or throw your ideas. Alison, anything that you can add? Share any with your experience you have in their different organizations. And now we are in a banking sector. Yes, Alison?
Not really, sir, because this is the first time that I'm into the banking sector. So regarding the moratoriums, no, I'm.
Okay, you are working for whom?
Chairman.
Sorry?
I'm working for the chairman, NDB.
Okay, good, right. Okay. Indika, anything that you can add with your experience, banking experience? Yes? Indika? Udesha, can you share something from your finance company experience?
Sir, not for companies, we were giving moratoriums for like individual customers because of this COVID-19 pandemic. So yeah, that was the moratoriums that we gave, not for the corporate loans though.
Okay, so that's for the individuals. Individuals who have
Yes.
obtained leases, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Fine. Amir, anything that you can add? Amir? No? Ajanta, anything that you can add? Ajanta? Okay, Amir. Ajanta, anything that you can add with regard to the moratoriums? Anthony, anything that you can add?
I agree with you, sir.
Yeah. Yes, Ajanta first. Yes, Ajanta.
No, I agree with you, sir. Everybody asking for moratoriums, even though not in trouble in the recent past, to get the benefit of the low rates.
Yes. So finally, it will affect the sector. If you, as a country, if you go for a political agenda, it will affect the financial sector.
Yes.
And there will be, especially with regard to the finance companies, now they can't, if they when you get a lot of moratoriums even for the individual customers, they might have cash flow issues because they are living with this monthly income, and they don't get the cash flows in. Especially the finance companies, they are mainly heavily dependent on leasing. So most of the leases, the government has requested to give a moratorium. So sometimes they will not be able to get the cash flows, and when it will be difficult for them to borrow money because the rates are very low. So the danger would be, chances are there that they will have cash flow issues. So I think everyone must understand, the so-called experts must understand that we should not overburden the financial sector too much, because it's almost 1 year has passed. But this third wave, we don't know. It seems to be it's very dangerous. So if the government is trying to give more and more moratoriums, it will impact the financial sector. So that's a call that we all of must understand. We have to take it. Right, fine, good. Corporate governance is the system by which companies are directed and controlled. Capital report. Difference. Management is concerned with operational matters. Governance is concerned with ensuring that businesses are run properly. So what is more important, the board of directors' responsibility is to ensure that they run the business properly, right? If you run the business properly, only you will be able to bring governance to a system. So management and governance are two different aspects. In order to bring governance, you have to have proper management as well. So hand in hand, these two are very two important aspects for a bank or financial institution to run the governance principles. Right. Corporate governance is not an add-on. It has been an integral part of the organization. Right. So it's important. It's a part and parcel. So unfortunately, organizations think that governance is something that unique. Okay, you have to take it separately. So even the compliance is the same. How you look at these compliance officers in your bank, Ajanta? How do you look at these compliance officers in your bank? Are you happy with them, Ajanta? Yes. Ajanta, are you happy with these compliance officers in your bank? Are they helping or
Mr.
are they blocking?
Sinaratna, I think they should act as a neutral point.
Okay. So what you're trying to say is they have to balance the business as well as the compliance. Is that the case?
And the central bank.
Okay. Right. Prasanna, what's your view? Udesha, anything that you can add?
A compliance officer should ensure that the branch or the office is on compliance with the CBSL regulations.
Mm-hmm. So the business always say that the compliance officers are not supporting their business. What is more important now, the compliance officer will not interfere with the business activities if the business is doing right. What I see with my personal experience, I always had issues with the business. They argue that I'm not independent, I'm not supporting them, which I resist for that argument. I told, no, you do your job. If you do your job, then there's nothing for me to check. Right? My job will be difficult if you're not doing the right thing. So then I have to criticize, I have to find fault with you all and report it to the high level. So if you are doing your job, then my job will be easy and there is no job for me. Since the business is violating or doing the wrong things in a wrong way, my job will become difficult. So I'm there for a specific purpose as the second defense line to ensure that you are following the guidelines or in a practical sense or in theoretical sense and protect the interest of the organization. So the business sometimes they want compliance to sign off their activities, which we can't do as compliance officers, that is not the expectations of regulator. Compliance officer should not be a monitor or principal of a school, right? He can be a coordinator, but at the same time, business also must understand they are doing their job in the right way, in the right track, in line with the regulatory requirements. So sometimes you might say, okay, if you are going to do business in line with the regulations, we will not be able to do anything. Fine. If your argument is that if you are doing something, if you have a reason why you did that, I have allowed those type of transactions. But if you are doing it knowing it's wrong, and in order to grab the business, I will not allow that to do because it's not the requirement. Requirement is different. While protecting the interest of the organization, you have to drive the business. So if you're not doing that, then I will have to take action. Right. So balancing your job and supporting is always there with these compliance officers. I don't think none of the organization compliance officers will go against the business. We are getting money out of the hard-earned money earned by you. So we are not doing business. But non-compliance cost is very high. Reputational damage is very high, right? So overnight an organization can crash because of the reputational damage. So that is why the compliance officer must be very strong character. Will protect the interest of the organization and while protecting, fulfilling the regulatory requirements. So I know normally in an organization, auditors are not popular, compliance officers are not popular, HR officers are not popular, right? So that's the normal trend, but still those positions are important, right? Without those positions, you can't survive. If you want to have a good team, those three positions are very important, right? Okay. To get the real benefit of effective of corporate governance, company tends and apply because they make both common sense and good business sense. In other words, applying good governance principles becomes part and parcel of normal board management and employee behavior. So good governance should be inbuilt in your business day-to-day activities. Compliance should be inbuilt in your business as part and parcel of your business. If you're going to take compliance separate, if you're going to take business governance separate, we'll have to spend a lot of time and money to put them in order. But if you consider these two as integral part of your business, it's going to be very easy for you to drive this business. Corporate governance pillars, I told you: accountability, fairness, transparency, independency. So these are common sense, nothing more than that. So all of us must ensure that we fulfill all these requirements in a timely manner because we are taking public money, right? We have to be transparent. We have to be fair for all customers, big or small. Yeah, we have to take accountability on what we do, and we have to act independently for the best interest of all the stakeholders. Effect of bad governance from an economic view. If the depositors are not confident with the level of stability of the company, capital will flow elsewhere. If investors, shareholders are not confident with the level of disclosure of the company, capital will flow elsewhere. If a country does not have a reputation for strong corporate governance practices, capital will flow elsewhere. So it could happen to your organization as well. So always we need to ensure we build confidence, we build trust, we build transparency. If you can maintain those only, you will be able to survive in this system. Right. Stakeholders of a company, there are different types of stakeholders. The expectations are different. You can internal stakeholders, external stakeholders. Internal, you have the owners, managers, and the employees. External parties, suppliers, customers, competitors, state and society. So balancing all these stakeholder expectation is the biggest challenge. It's very difficult to balance people. Why? Your expectations are different. So when I'm lecturing from this end, I know it's very difficult to meet or address all your views. But if I have a physical lecture, it will be easy for me to see your reactions, see your facial expressions or your behavior, body language, and accordingly I can handle. But when I'm behind a screen where you have shut down your screens, I don't know what's really happening at that time. I don't know whether you are in line with my requirements or are you listening to me or not. So finally, the evaluations, if you're going to give an evaluation for this end, it's very difficult for me to cater everyone. Right? You will get more distracted when you're working at home. So working at home, some organizations, they are doing well, but some organizations, they are not doing well. The reason, sometimes because it's not so effective. right? Because you are distracted, you will have other commitments. With all those other commitments, sometimes you will not be able to focus properly to your work. Especially in the banking sector, what I have seen, the success rate of performing from home is not effective. But under this kind of conditions, we have to take that call. We have to ensure that we have to protect this process. Health sector instructions are important. So even to see the last few weeks within your organizations, did you follow the real rules? Right? Here's a question. Right? Within your organization, maybe your numbers are high. But reason, all material requirements did we followed. Right? So you can have a lot of concerns, issues when you come to these kind of things. So that's a part and parcel of the system. We are a group of people who easily forget about the history, maximum 2 weeks. Now today we are talking about the third wave. Still the pressure is not with us. So probably next 2 weeks we will get a higher pressure on that. Previously everyone was talking about this. Previous week we were talking about Port City. Previous week we were talking about New Year, festival and the shopping, everything, right? So we try to live it for a week and we forget about the week. So next week, definitely we will more focus on the third wave and the numbers, and we try to reintroduce all our controls, right? So try to there be a scarcity in the in the goods, more queues and more people will rush to the supermarkets. Supermarkets will earn during that particular period. So this is the life cycle of Sri Lankans, and not only Sri Lankans, the other countries is the same. So you have to live it in that, but you have to live it in a different way. Some difference should come from you all, because we are bankers. You have to respect your position, you have to respect your profession, and we are a group of people who always request others to save. That's a good topic, I would say. Now, we normally say customers, you can bring your deposit, you keep, we will give this percentage. How about your savings? Yes. Ajanta, how is your savings? Ajanta?
It's my own, sir.
Yeah, your own. Yes. You request your customers to deposit. You request your customers to manage your credit cards and loans. How is your credit card? Is it the maximum or the minimum? Yes. I can hear his reactions, right? What about Taranga? You? How is your savings? Taranga?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Anthony, what about you? No, Taranga, I don't want your answer. Taranga, Anthony? Anthony, what's your...
Yeah,
yes?
It's a manageable thing.
Manageable in the sense you have some savings, or when you come to savings, you are
Yes.
zero and... Okay. Yeah, okay. That's
No,
fine.
I do have some savings.
You have savings. Good. Udesha, what about you?
Bit more expenses than savings.
Okay. So you are living with your parents?
Yeah.
Okay. So then no problem. Right.
Yeah,
Indika,
no problem on savings.
Yeah. You can borrow from your... you don't have to pay, but still you can borrow from your parents. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Then no problem. Yes. Indika, what about you? Your savings? Are you happy with your savings?
No, sir.
Okay. Prasanna, what about you?
No, sir.
Okay, no savings. All right. Yeah. So one end, what I see, Yeah, but I see bankers are a group of people, they enjoy with whatever they get, and they finish the money and they wait for the next salary. Right? So the majority is the same, I would say. But we instruct our customers, why don't you save? Why don't you deposit? We are giving this particular rate. So our behavior and our advice are two different. Right? Okay. So Indika is sharing his percentages as well. Fine. Good, good. It's very interesting. Right. Board's role in crisis. If you know that during the crisis period, the bank boards, your own boards had a lot of tough time balancing the customers, balancing looking after you all, supporting, right? So all the boards were the same. You can remember we had meetings late night to see how we could protect our stakeholders, right? Customers. Our board gave advice to all the top management to ensure that we protect our customers, we help them, we look after our employees, we look after the rest of the stakeholders. So everyone went into the same platform, all the organizations, it was the same. So I would say we are living in a country where when the problem comes, everyone collectively work together. That's very positive. And so that is something important. That is the uniqueness on Sri Lankan context. We support others. When the requirement comes, we somehow support. So which we don't see in other countries. So that is one of the values what I see in Sri Lankan context. Our people, whatever said and done, they have a lot of problems, but still they are willing to help others, which we can't see that quality from most of the foreign people, right? So if you go and tell someone, okay, I have a problem, can you help me? If you don't have money, still he will find something for you. He will borrow from someone else and try to help you, unless you are a corrupted person. Right? So that quality is important. So the board of directors, when during this pandemic issue, they did a lot of activities to protect the stakeholders, because that's the responsibility of them. So I have highlighted few slides on that. Just go through those slides. I'm not going to go in detail on that. Okay. Now, when you come to corporate governance structures, it's very important to ensure a proper structure. Now, what is a corporate governance structure is important. Structure is a simple thing. Now, you need to have a structure for your career. You need to have a structure. You have to have a plan. So your plan, the best person for you to draw the plan is you, not me. And sorry, I want to emphasize another factor. Now, if you have not done your banking, please make sure that you complete your banking. It's very important, right? If you take the other sectors, other professions, unless you complete your qualification, you can't be a profession in that field. To be a doctor, you have to ensure that you complete the MBBS or a foreign degree. And if you want to be a lawyer, you have to complete the attorneys. Accountancy. But bankers, you enter into the business without any qualification. And finally, you ended up without any qualification. So experience is good. Your knowledge is good, but if you can give more, if you have the qualification as well. So please focus on that. Banking is not difficult. Don't think that the banker or the institute is trying to fail you. No, they don't have any intention of that. I can remember when I was there in the board, we in certain instances, we reduced the marks for 30, 35 to get pass the students. Bankers, their practice of studying for examination, last 2 days, they cram the whole year's work and they go for the exam. Right? Then what happens? They fail. Some students, they don't study anything. They go through all the past papers, then rewrite, and then when they go to the exam, if there's a new question, sorry. Sorry, I was thrown out. Sorry about that. Okay, can you hear me and can you see the slides?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Sorry about that. Okay, I will off my camera. Maybe that sometimes your my data seems to be okay, but fine. Okay, we'll proceed. Right. So, right, coming back to the corporate governance structures. So you have to have a balanced structure within your organization. Now, if you take the next slide, this is the balanced structure. So you get the shareholders at the top, and shareholders appoint the board of directors through their voting power, and the board of directors through their supervisory power appoint the management, and shareholders bring their share equity capital, that's the share money, and company must pay a return on that, that's a dividend. And debt capital, companies, they borrow from financial institutions, that's called the debt capital. So capital in two forms, that is share capital and loan capital, or equity capital and debt capital. And for the loans, you have to pay a return, that's the interest rate, and out of that interest, in return you will get the debt capital. Customers, you give the goods and services, customers will pay the market rates, and employees, they give the services, employment will have to pay the wages or salaries. Suppliers, they will supply goods and services where you have to give the market rates. Local authorities, they will provide you the services. You will have to pay taxes and whatever the charges and fees. So if you see, all these arrows are unequal in size. So you have to create a win-win situation market to balance all these parties' interests. So if you can create a win-win situation, that means your structure is very strong, right? It's not affected by the external parties. You are looking after each and every stakeholder in a balanced way. It's a win-win situation and everyone is happy. So you need to have a strong structure within your organization if you really want to balance these two, all stakeholders of your company, right? So please understand, introducing a good, strong structure for the organization is very important if you really want to protect all stakeholders. So balancing all stakeholder interest is the real challenge, right? Any questions on this structure? Any questions? Now, organization point of view, do you all have a vision? Do you all have a vision? Ellison, do you have a vision for you? Hello. Ellison, do you have a vision for you?
Sorry, so there's something wrong in the mic.
Do you have a vision for you?
Yes.
Okay. What is your ultimate vision? Vision is where you want to go. If you can share your vision, if it is okay for you to share your vision, can you just explain? If it is possible only. Are you ready to? Yes?
Not really.
Not much. Okay, fine. Anthony, do you have a vision?
Yes, I do.
Can you share that with us?
Yes, that's to be to be in a corporate level in the banking sector, and to give back to the society and to the organization.
Okay, so you want to be a top person in the corporate world, right?
Yeah, that is correct.
Okay, Udesha, what's your vision?
So to be in a corporate management and also to have a proper family life too, with both balanced.
Okay, good. Career as well as family, right? So vision
Yes.
is where the long-term plan what you have. Normally, overnight you can't achieve your vision. Maybe that you have a vision to be a branch manager in another 5 years or 10 years time. So towards that vision, you have to do something, right? That's called the short-term goals or the targets. Those are called mission statements. Once you achieve the mission statements, only you can achieve the vision. So sometimes maybe you are completing your diploma and gaining knowledge are short-term mission statements for you to go for your vision, because you wanted to be a manager in a branch, A-level grade branch in 5 years time. So in order to achieve your vision and the mission statement, you have to have goals. One goal to complete this. So when you are executing your goals, you have to have a plan with strategies. That is called the strategic plan. So you know, as bankers, I know that you all have strategic plan. You're talking about strategic plan. You went for this discussion and our management explained this is our strategic plan. They have a lot of strategies, right? So many things are happening within the organization, right? To talking about their strategies and the plans. So it's a simple document. So it's a plan for you to go for your vision with strategies. Without strategies, you can't have a plan. What's the purpose of having a plan if you don't have a strategy to achieve that? How can you consider it as a plan? So when you are preparing your strategies plan, you have to focus on the SWOT: strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Right? So monitoring process, you will have audit committees, you have internal controls, you have internal auditors. Internal auditors will ensure that you have done your controls, right? So in your personal life is also the same. You will have a vision. You're completing this examination is one of your mission statement. You'll have to have a plan with strategies, how you are going to complete this, how you are going to go for this position in 5 years time, right? Don't compete with anyone, right? Without competing, you can go for your vision, personal vision. You can have a separate vision for your career, you can have a separate vision for your family, and you can have a separate vision for you individual. So balancing these three is very important. But if I'm going to give priority now, my personally, I strongly believe if you're working if your working hours will say 8 to 5, if you can give maximum from 8 to 5, that's more than enough. You don't have to stay overnight. You don't have to stay after work, right? If you're doing your job properly from 8 to 5, there may be reasons where you have to stay after work, okay? That you have to do, no problem. Sometimes there may be instances where you have to come on weekdays, weekends as well. That's fine, but it should not be a habit. If you are doing your job from 8 to 5, that's more than enough, right? Your maximum capacity is that after working for 9 hours, can you give more than that? No, I don't think. So say say the lunch or the lunch hour, lunch 45 minutes, none of us will take 45 minutes for that. Maximum 5 to 10 minutes. If you are really jobless, only you will take 1 hour. But I know that all of you all will not take that much. And we don't want to spend that much unless you are in a gossip team. And today you have a lot of gossip, no? Your Facebook, it's a gossip. Your WhatsApp is a gossip, right? All this new technology give a lot of gossip sites. When you go for a lunch in a 5-star hotel, you bring the meal, and before you start eating, you take a selfie and you post it to show. It's show off type of a method. You want to show the world, okay, I'm here today, I'm having a 5-star lunch or dinner. If you want, you look at that. So what is the energy that you get from that statement? It's all about gossip. Today you see a lot of gossip messages. People are jobless, I would say. Majority of the people are spending hours and hours and hours on this so-called sites but they don't have time to eat, they don't have time to sleep, but they have time to waste on these gossip sites. If you are using it wisely, no problem, right? Udesha, how many hours you spend on your mobile phone?
During work time, actually, no, so I don't use my phone much.
Okay.
Even after coming home also, yeah, most probably no. I'm not into Facebook or anything. So
Okay.
yeah, unless I watch news, like news in the sense not news, like all those what's happening on day to day. Other than that, no.
Good, very good. So you are wisely using. What about you, Anthony?
Yeah, not during work hours, but during my leisure time, maybe 45 minutes a day, 30 to 45 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. So if you can, I'm not against of any of this new IT or any technology things, new sites. But what I want to say is, if you're using it wisely, you can have fun. There are a lot of fun messages comes. You can for you to release your stress. Fine, those are okay. Those are acceptable because you have to release your stress as well. But criticizing people, criticizing religions, criticizing leadership, I don't know why. Who sent these leaders to the parliament? We send them. Then why do you want to criticize them? For what? To show your colors, to show your I'm in favor of this party or I'm against this party. No, don't do that. You're using your quality when you are when to start criticizing others, you lose your demarcations. Sometimes you go beyond that, you take it personal, and finally you don't know what you're doing. So use this for fun purpose. Enjoy. You read something good, and you don't have to go for this high technical, high theoretical things. You have to have a life as well. So, but you need to balance it. Now, what are the things that we see from this television? Is it something good things or bad things, especially the news items? Alison, do you watch news, Sri Lankan news channels?
Actually, sir, no, I don't have TV at home.
Okay.
I normally go online if I need to check
Is it
something.
intentionally you don't have a
Yes.
television? Yes. Do you have
We
kids?
have a television, but I have not have any cables or anything. I don't have.
Okay. Anyone else who are more addicted? I know some majority of you are not addicted, but if you see the majority of now news items, it's negative things, bad things, right? Either starting from a murder, end with an accident, right? In between you get bribery and corruption. You can see the parliament jokes in between that. That all negative, nothing value addition. So our mindset is corrupted, I would say. And you see all teledramas, these Indian imported teledramas and local made teledramas, all family problems. So sometimes there is a crowd who compare their problem with the artist, teledrama artist problem. And they are happy. Okay, so and so is also having the same problem. No? So they are happy. As Sri Lankans they are very happy to compare their problem with someone else. And if they see that someone else is having the similar problem, they are very happy. They forget about their problem and then they are talking about the other person's problem. This is the real world. So when I inquired some time back why this television, especially the dramas and the news item, why are they so negative? What they told was they can't market positive things. Right? They always have to market negative things, then people they watch for. Right? So you can't see any positive things, encouraging things over the TV news or the TV, most of the TV dramas, all family problems and negative things. So we are living in a negative world and we are trying to bring good governance to a system. So how can we change this thinking pattern? We need to change the thinking pattern before we talk about good governance. So how to change this thinking pattern, it's up to you. So sometimes you might think, okay, whether I'm practical, whether what I'm trying to say is right, whether we can do all those things. You don't have to do all those things, but I'm saying here. But at least try to put 5% out of the things what I'm trying to say. You will get more productive. You will be more productive at your organization. You will perform better than current performance. I'm 100% sure. Right. So when you come to organization perspective, it's very important to have a long-term vision. So vision is the place where you want to go. And in order to achieve your vision, you will be having mission statement. Those are short-term plans. It's the board of directors' responsibility to achieve that. In order to achieve your vision, you will have goals. When you're achieving your goals, you will have a plan with strategies. When you're focusing on your strategies, you have to focus on the risk aspect. So the risk board subcommittee is there in the company, any company. Then you will have policies and procedures when you're focusing on strategies. Internal controls will be there. The responsibility of controlling the internal controls is the responsibility of the internal audit. And internal audit, to support the internal audit, you get the audit committee, right? So top of that, you get the company. Company owns by the shareholders. Shareholders appoint the board of external auditors. Shareholders appoint the board of directors. And why shareholders appoint the board of external auditors? To ensure that their money is safe. So the auditor, external auditors must give a confirmation that their money is safe to the shareholders. So this is the director's duties on strategic planning and business to address governance requirements. So you need to have a balanced structure. Organizations will have values, right, within the organization. So based on the values, the organization can focus on a vision. So all these are interconnected. In your personal life also, you can have the left side diagram. You can have a vision, short-term plans. You can have goals. You can have plan with strategies. You have to focus on the risk. Internal controls, you have to do that, right? So then easily you can achieve your vision. So it's a matter of, it's a discipline, I would say. Whatever said and done, whatever the religion you're representing, finally, the focus of all the religions, it's the same. Do the right, don't do the wrong. Unfortunately, people are interpreting their religion for their benefit. All religious leaders, their statements are the same. You do the right thing, don't do the wrong thing. You respect the people, you do good things, don't do the bad things. And unfortunately, the subsequent leadership or religious leadership, they are misinterpreting the original statements, right? So today, religion is not there among majority of us, right? If you're respecting the religion, automatically you will have discipline. So whatever the religion, you need to respect that. So some might say, okay, we don't want a religion, we have the discipline. Fine, that's okay, that's fine, acceptable. But religion will discipline you. That's the focus. You don't have to go every day to the church or the temple or to the mosque. But if you have the discipline and if you respect the principles of your religion, I think that's more than enough. But often you have to visit your religious place, because then you feel, okay, this is my religion, this is my place, right? It gives a lot of energy to you inside your temple or church or mosque. So you have to get that feeling as well. Okay, so respect all the religions equally. I do respect all the religions. I respect all the people equally. I respect everyone equally, because the reason is where that should come from us. So if each and everyone is going to do that, I think that is something important. That's an important thing in all aspects, right? Okay. Any questions? No questions. Values of corporate governance, there are good values, right? Intangible, you can't touch. Internal workings of the organization, you will have better internal controls, internal workings. Capital raising and cost will be very easy. Raising capital is very easy, The cost is will be very low. People tend to bring money and keep. Now today, even though the fixed deposit rates are below 5%, still people come and deposit with you. Right? Maybe there can be one reason where there is no place for them to deposit money, no investments, nothing, no market is not functioning, share market, and that may be one reason. Okay, but still they believe on the finance sector. I think today, if you are anyone interested, one good way to invest is to buy a land. Right? If you, what I have seen in the last few months, the tendency of people, they buy lands. So maybe that if you have an adjoining land, yes, fine, you can buy and expand your area. But at the same time, for investment purposes, if you can buy a land a little bit far at a low rate, within 10 years, it will most probably, the value will increase by 5-10 times. Rather than keeping your money in a fixed deposit, since the rates are very low, better you go and invest in a land. In another 5 years to 10 years time, definitely the land values will be much more higher than today. So that's a good investment, I would say. Staff attraction and retention, people are happy. They will not leave your organization. They will retain with you, and more people prefer to come and join with you. Growth opportunities are more, right? You know that you can develop in the organization. You have a lot of career path in your organization if you have good governance in your organization. So there are certain governance problems. It's very difficult to find problems for the governance issues, because governance is something changing, and governance is all about people, human behavior. Your behavior I can't control. Today your behavior and tomorrow's your behavior is different. So I can't introduce a law to control your behavior. Unless I educate you and understand, okay, this is what you should do, this is what you should not do. Then you will be happy, okay, you will try to do what is good for the system. So governance is a good topic, hot topic. That's why we, in certain master's level examinations, we teach for masters as well as a separate subject. But no solution. You can't find a solution for governance issues. Why? It's all about people and how they behave. If you go to Google and type governance collapses, how many videos you can see? How many films you can see? How many articles you can see? Millions of articles, right? Hundreds of pages on governance, hundreds of video clips, or more than that, 50-odd films. So this gives an evidence to show that, okay, governance is a hot topic, but finding solution for governance is not easy. You can't find a solution. You definitely, no regulator, no authority can find unless the people understand the importance of governance and bring right to the system. Reporting financial records, showing wrong records, and showing high profits. One particular day, I will show you some video clips, right? On that particular day, you will realize how this governance behavior. Directors and company financial officers acting fraudulently in the either deliberately misstating financial statement. They show wrong statements. Lehman Brothers, before they collapsed, they had a huge party 6 months prior to the collapse. They were enjoying their profits, performance, but after 6 months it collapsed. Recent past, you saw ETI, Swarnamahal, they are having problems. The finance, they are having problems. Previously, Pramukha Bank, Golden Key, they have problems. They had problems. So comparing with other countries, I would say Sri Lankan context, we are strong when it comes to financial market. We have controls over that, but in between you get bad apples. You can't control each and every person, each and every individual. It's all about people and how they behave. So your behavior goes with your intention as well. There can be weaknesses in company reporting, right? Auditor independence is important. Internal as well as external auditor independence is a pivotal role for any company's governance. So you have to maintain that at a high level, right? You can't just ignore that. Okay. So there are a lot of collapses in the past. I have highlighted some of the examples. Sorry. Lehman Brothers, Tesla, Callion are some examples. So after the class, if you have time before the next session, just go to YouTube and just type to see, okay, Lehman Brothers collapse. You will get short videos on that. Just watch and see what really went wrong in those companies. What was the real concern? Lehman Brothers, Enron, right? WorldCom, Toshiba, and the two companies, Tesla, Callion. So you will get a lot of information and you will realize how these things are happening worldwide, how people are cheating people in a big way. And so it's very important for you to understand that. Step to promote good governance, right? There are a lot of steps. Structure the board to add value, lay solid foundation for management and oversight, promote ethical and responsible decision making, safeguard integrity in financial reporting, make timely and balanced disclosure, respect the rights of the shareholders, recognize and manage risk, remunerate fairly based on the responsibilities. So overall, there are a lot of responsibilities to the stakeholders to bring governance to a system. A lot of additions will come. It's important to add things, but at the same time, you need to balance all stakeholder expectations. Right. Meaning of corporate governance. Good governance is about clarity, accountability, and transparency. Clarity of the organization purpose and values and principles which derive it. Accountability for all organization stakeholders, not just for financial stakeholders. Transparency is understanding and demonstrating how the organization lives up to the purpose, values, and principles that drive. So good governance is a combination of clarity, accountability, and transparency. Pillar, one end you can say pillar. So if you read 10 books, you will get 10 articles, 10 different views. So, but all these are common sense. Now, Lehman Brothers, Banco Espirito Santo, just see, go to the YouTube and see what went wrong in these organizations, and you will realize who is responsible, what really happened. So biggest allocation comes to the board of directors in all these collapsed companies, external auditors, management, that is more on the financial people, and the regulators and the political parties. So in any structure, these are the 5 categories of groups responsible for a governance collapse. Right? They are responsible. So I have given few examples. Before you read these slides, I'm expecting you to go through these video clips which are available in the YouTube and get an idea, and after that you read it. And also at the beginning I showed you some films. It's interesting, those films. Please watch at least 2-3 films during the week, because Monday is holiday. We don't know what will happen Tuesday onwards. So try to find little free time and watch 2-3 films. You will get the real feeling of this governance, and you will see the importance of governance to your business. Some key questions. Why have such scandals and collapses occurred? Why organization collapse? What might be done to prevent them happening again? So the prevention is the best thing. If something happened next time, what we have to do is we have to prevent that. But that point is lacking in this system. We faced the first wave. and less controls on prevention. We face the second wave, very weak controls on prevention. Now today we are facing the third wave. So all these waves, it's very clear, increase of damage and decrease of controls. So what practically should be, we have to strengthen our controls and reduce the damage. But in all the countries, it goes in the other way. So it's very clear, as a world, we have failed. Now, biggest governance collapse, what we see, all the companies, majority of the companies failed because of governance, because of this COVID. Now, people are talking about they are the market leaders, they have the market share, biggest market share, we have billions of profits, okay? But when they couldn't do their business for 3 months without functioning, they went and cut down the salaries of their employees. So for me, it's the biggest governance issue. It's the biggest governance collapse. If you can't look after your employees for 3 months without your business, I think that clearly shows they never had any plans for the future. Maybe that they are claiming, okay, we are the number 1, we are the number 2, we are the number 3. What is the purpose of claiming for positions if you can't maintain your position? So for me, the biggest governance collapse came with this COVID, not the financial crisis. How can investor confidence be restored? Right. So these are the references that I used to prepare this set of slides. Any questions? Any questions? Yes.
So do we have companies that
Companies Act under this syllabus?
yeah, in this,
Yeah, I'll be discussing certain points, important points on Companies Act, which are relevant for your banking practice. I'm doing that. Yes. What else? Anything else? Yes. Any questions? Right. So as homework, please go through the video clips, and if possible, try to watch 1 or 2 movies which are there in this particular set of slides. And nothing to study, I would say, this, especially when this comes to governance. It's all about common sense. So this is the best time for you to understand your organization and the governance. So get hold of your annual report. Annual reports will give you a detail what you have done for governance, and study on that. So with this subject, you will be able to understand the importance of governance to your organization and what you should do to bring governance to your organization. Okay, with that, I will stop for the day. Any final questions? No. Anything? Okay, so I want all of you to join for the next lesson as well. The same numbers. I don't want less numbers. Don't come for the first session and see what's really happening. Okay, then thereafter only you're going to join. Keep free this Saturday afternoon for these lectures. It's important. You will get a lot of knowledge. If you really study, you will get a lot of knowledge. So make sure that you join continuously for these lessons. And I prefer those who are not interactive today. I'm expecting those to talk little bit much more than this today at the next session. Okay, all the best and take care. That's important. We don't know how this third wave is going to affect us, and make sure that you slides, you will get the slides. I have shared with the institute. They will email it to you all. Don't worry. Right. So take all the precautionary actions and be safe. Life is challenging, okay, but still we have to move with this system. Right. Thanks a lot.